brought before the board. There's a couple of announcements, I think. Kathy, I saw your email. I wasn't exactly sure, but it sounds like you think it would work better and be a little bit easier to understand if we made a motion at each appeal, not me just run down that list really fast. Is that correct?
Yes, that's my preference.
Okay, then we'll do that. And like you said, whoever has the appeal will open it up. I think we just have to say that you want to bring it to the table. We don't have to go through the whole other thing, and then I'll just second it. I'll second all of them. This way it just goes faster, if that's okay with everybody. Good. No complaints. Okay.
So wait, so we're making a motion to bring it to the table? Is that what you're saying?
Yep, because when I was doing that,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
but it's confusing for Kathy. It's probably confusing for the public. So I think what we'll do is
make a motion to present the appeal.
Yep. The hearing officer will make that motion. I will second all of them because it'll just be really fast. We won't wait for somebody to answer. I'll just say, I second, and then we'll just go on.
Okay.
And then we'll procedure we've been following. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. All right. So a couple of things. Appeal number 5, which was the second appeal, is being postponed because it hasn't been heard yet. There was a mix-up on my schedule with when this man was going to have his appeal. So he's being heard on Friday. So we can't really do anything with his. Helene, you had that one. I sent you a text. I don't know if you saw it.
Honestly, I have had a 2-hour meeting. I just literally walked in, and I know I have a bunch of text messages. So no, I did not see it yet.
Okay. Are you able to do appeal number 62, Jack Stillman?
I mean, I could do it. I haven't looked it over, but I just make my way through it as we go through. Yeah.
Okay. Ross will be joining us after 6. I sent him an email today because he wanted to know what questions we had. I told him the questions could most probably be answered on the spot. I don't think we have anything that needs a lot of research. And I also asked him a question. My question was, please explain the land, what's the land used, the neighborhood, and then the value of the land, so I can understand what it means and how he did it. And I'm sure we could all use that. And also, I asked him to respond to the questions and requests he already had. There were several of them, the papers that we fill out. I saw several of those go by, but I never saw the outcome. So I'd like to know, and I'm sure the rest of everybody would like to know what he's. I saw one of them where changes were made, but I don't see what the effect of that is on that appeal. Does it change it? We talked about that last night. We really don't know what happens. We just know it changed. We don't know the value of the change. So I asked him to go over those with us as well. So when he'll be doing that tonight. Okay, so we'll get started. Okay, Helene, you're up first with appeal number 4.
Okay, this is appeal number 4. I make a motion to present appeal number 4, 2167 Fairfield Beach Road.
Second.
All right, the homeowner is Marichelle Zlatev. She has a town value of $941,100. She is requesting to go to $581,736. 2167 Fairfield Beach Road is, you would all know this house once you see it. If you scroll down and look at the photo, it's the one all the way down at the end, had significant damage during Sandy. And it was next to the house that was washed out to sea. It's on the sound side. So it's up on stilts. It's a tiny little house. It's 1,104 square feet. What she is saying, let me scroll down a little bit further. She's got some comps, and what she said was she averaged the price per square foot of all sold properties and came up with $527 per square foot. She said, my property is a total square footage of 1,104 square feet. So that's how she figured the $581,736. Let me just pull down and see the properties that she used. Okay, they're all in the valuation period. 2123 is on the sound side, 2087 is on the south side, and 1901 is on the sound side. I told her that it's hard to use something on the other side because, you know, she really needs to compare it to the ones that are on the water and not the creek. 2123 sold in April of, well, actually, no, that's not me. The two, yeah, you know what? The two, I made a note here. The two that I said she could use were 21 or 1901. Actually, that's maybe the only one.
Mhm.
Now that I'm looking at it, 1901. That sold for the price was $525, and there was 1718 square feet, and that closed in April of 2020. So you know, she used the price per square foot, and that's how she came up with that price. You know, the 581 seems a little low to me, or even with the size of that house and the square footage, because it is, you know, it is on right on the beach. I'm just looking for the size of her lot, which
That's
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask.
I don't think it's,
you know what, her field card is not there. Let me just let's quickly look at Fairfield Beach Road, 2167, and I'll tell you what it is. 2167.
1696 square feet is the size of the lot.
So she's on 0.14. 0.14. Yeah, it's all the way at the end there before the turnaround, and it starts to really narrow down. It's one of the smaller lots. So yeah, I mean, she's really only got the one comp, but you know, her property has 28 feet on the road frontage and 32 feet beachfront. 1901 has 32 feet on the road and 28 feet on the sound. Hers is only a 2-bedroom. 1901 is a 3-bedroom. And let me just see what 1901 is. Let me just check. 1 second. I mean, that for that size house, there's not a lot of them left. There used to be, but these days they're all built up. So 1901, oh, I don't know what she's talking about here. 1901. Oh, they must have, yeah. All right. So it did sell for 525, but they must have done something to this house because now the appraised value is $1,189,600. So that was probably a tear down. I'd have to go back and look at the MLS. But when it did
Kathleen.
sell in the valuation period, it did sell for a lot less.
Yeah, Helene, this one came up. This is Kathleen. This one came up last year, and it's an unqualified sale. I don't remember the exact details of how or why it sold, but I don't think it's a tear down. I just think it was, you know, if you look at the card, it's marked unqualified, and that's why it's, you know, the value is the town has it at $1,189,500. So it was
Can you explain to me again what constitutes an unqualified sale?
yeah. So this,
Oh.
yeah, I would ask Ross that question, but often it's sometimes if it's like a partial sale or something else happens or there's a family transfer, maybe another property went with it, and this is the cash. So it could be a complicated sale. And then there's also other ones that are marked unqualified, but they are technically, you know, good sales that you can use. So I would ask him what makes a good one and a bad one when he's on tonight. I remember this one from last year because it's, you know, at 525 and you know, the town has it at $1,189,000. And if you look at just look at it from the street, and it's got a creekside lot with it, you know, it's got parking on the other side. It's right on the beach, you know, it's 0.1 acres on the beach. It's got, you know, 1,700 square feet. There's no way that was a, you know, a fair market transaction at 525 when tear downs go for, you know, whatever they go, the lots down there go for 700, 800,000 a lot. So
So
That-
but
that-
did
I
you
wouldn't-
say-
You, Kathleen, so, really? Yeah, it's like about 1/3, just figure 1/3. So if the home, property at 525, you would expect to build a property there about 1/6. And sell it for 1/6
but
at that
But you know,
moment.
the property across, you know, on the creek side, it may be the same owner, but it's a different number. It's a different address, 1904. And this is
sometimes they
19.
sell, yeah, sometimes
So
they sell
they can sell
together.
it right, exactly. But
We don't
this,
know. Yeah, you'd have to look.
yeah, I'm just looking to see. I don't know that this sold with that other lot, but anyway, that's.
So it
I'm
doesn't.
sorry,
say-
what, Paulette?
You know, usually it'll say with additional lot or with also, you know, combined with blah, blah, blah. So if it doesn't say that and we have no
Yeah,
way,
well, this was a private sale, so yeah, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
Let me just look up 1904 just to see if there's anything on that. Susan Moore, 1901. Get back.
Hey, Paulette,
Mhm.
while Helene is looking those up, do we want to do a roll call real quick?
Oh, I forgot that. Yeah, my mistake. I'm sorry. Kathy, can you call the roll, please?
Sure. Paulette Kuzo,
Here.
Helene Daly,
Here,
Carol Langland,
Here,
Kathleen Griffin,
Here,
Peter Rupert. Peter's not present yet.
He'll be here around 5.
Okay. Katie Guston,
Here.
Judy Zablek.
Here.
That completes the roll call.
Thank you.
But just to be clear, this woman, the real issue with this lady's property is her land value, not so much the improvement on it, not so much
Right,
the house.
but we're not splitting that up anymore, according to what we discussed last night. We're not breaking it down into land and improvements the way we used to do it.
well, you can break it out in terms of the number, the final number. You know. you
Because I'm
can
just
back
saying, like, the value for this property is its location. It's not the house that's sitting on it.
True.
And so when you look at the comp she gave, the 1901, her property is 6,000 square feet, whatever that works out to an acreage, and the 1901 is 4,000 or 4,300 or something. So it is somewhat smaller. Also, when you look at the field card for the 1901, for the last 3 years, it's been appraised at almost $1 million, 950 and up. So I don't know that it was built new recently.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
I'm just
struggling
saying-
with this because of the sale price at 525, and you know, it could have. I don't know. I don't know if that was a family member relation. I don't know, but it looks like they purchased the creek side and the beachfront at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, do you guys
I'm
think
liking.
that this property is worth more than $581,000? Yeah, like
Yes.
yeah. Okay.
Yes. I don't know that it's. I mean, back in the valuation period, I don't know that it would have gone for 941,100.
Right.
But yeah, I think closer to that, and not. I wouldn't even say in the middle. You know, six.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I would say 800, maybe. But
Well,
you know, honestly, it's just subjective at this point because there's
Right.
really not a whole lot to go on with what she gave us. Besides price per square foot, which is, you know, like you said, you're not
Correct.
really comparing the structure. It's really the location.
so just so I'm clear,
yeah,
No,
there's a couple others
Can I-
sales down there. in the reval period. So just here's an example, right? 2155 Fairfield Beach Roads, oceanfront property. It's an FB7. If you look on her card, her land is valued in the FB7 range. Because when you're at the beach, I don't know, we had many presentations on this last year. You have to look at the special calc code because FB7s, FB8s, FB5s, they all have different, Judy probably remembers, they all have different land values when they built the land curve. So for example, if you're comparing, land down there, once you get beyond whatever there's a point or something, it changes from FB8, which has a lot of beach, to FB7, which doesn't have a lot of beach. So for example, 2155 is, what's her number? She's 2167. So it's probably a couple houses away from her, 1,300 square feet on 0.07 acres. That sold on 10/1/2018 for $1,050,000. So now that might be a much.
That was all. Yeah, that was all brand new. I mean, you can see her. If you look at that photo, you can see hers is like dwarfed by this. This has like 2 more floors than she does.
So Kathleen, can you see the land value of that comp?
Yes, the land value is 757.
57. That's what I'm saying. The land value down there, when what's his name, Mike Fazio did the presentations, he talked about, what lots he used to create the land curves, and he went and found the teardowns in each one of the areas, and then he used that to define the land values. And so for that particular FB7, he was able to find teardowns in all the different areas in the Fairfield Beach area to create the land curve. So in general, in that area, that's, and we had a lot of these last year, and they're complicated.
Her lot is this lot is a lot bigger than the subject property. A lot.
What's hers?
No, actually it isn't. No, it's 0.0. Oh, I read it wrong. 0.073 it says here.
Right, so that's a smaller lot.
Yeah.
Right. Land. So if somebody wanted to tear it down there, they could put up, right, a house at least as big as that 21.5, which is a new, that's a new house, right? That was a land sale back in 2018, and it's a new construction in 2019 for $1,050,000. So I just using the square.
That map, by the way, that shows all the different FBs. I can email it to, I don't know, I can email it to Kathy, or I can email it to Paulette, so you guys could all see it. If you want.
Email it to Kathy.
All right, I'll do that.
It's on the website. It's on the website too. It's on that
so then I don't need to. If somebody wants to, just let me know.
The other,
that's kind of like, and that's why I said I think it's closer to like 750 or 800 in my opinion than 941, and it's certainly nowhere near 581. I will say that.
this is Paulette. I would agree that it seems a little bit low, but look at the house. I don't know if you can see it from there, but I don't know. Even though they have beach view because they have so many feet across, I don't really think they can sit there. This house kind of sits in the water.
Yeah, no, it's all like, it's kind of, you can sit under the house.
Under the house.
Yeah.
Can't really sit on the beach.
And at high tide, that water comes right underneath the pilings there.
So the use of their land is restricted. The one next door, which is 2101, is that what we said? 2101. If it's 21, I sold that originally. And that doesn't have a lot where you can sit, but you could. And it also has a stone patio, which you can't see in the picture. And it couldn't be removed because it's part of the seawall there. And they couldn't build on it. They couldn't tear it down. They couldn't do anything with it. It just had to stay there. So you can walk down from that second floor and have a nice big patio. If you want to walk that far down to go sit at the beach, you could. But this one doesn't have that option. So land, they have the view and it's really nice, but they have no real use of that land, or they have restricted use of that land on that property.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is Kathy. She has a 0.9 on her. If you look at her condition adjustment, she has a 0.9 on her property. So she doesn't have the full value of the FB7 real estate. She's got 90% of it. and so does the subject property. They both have 0.9 on their condition factors.
Okay, well,
So, you know,
store has 0.9 and they have use of the
Yeah.
outdoor patio, then this one should be less.
I'm sorry, just Kathy. Outdoor patio, the sale.
The 2101, they have a huge slab of cement that it could look like a patio. I mean, it was, I think, at one, I don't know, it was part of the outside of it's part of the seawall, but this solid flat slab of cement, when the house was being built, they were going to use that for a patio because they're allowed to use it. The subject property doesn't have that ability. So if they have a 0.9, so in other words, what I'm saying is they can sit at the beach if they want to. They can bring chairs, they can have a table, they could eat out. This house really.
So you're talking about 1901, Paulette?
No, I'm talking about 2101.
2101?
Yeah, that's also in FB7, but it doesn't have the 0.9 on the land. And that's probably why they have more usable than those two
Yeah.
towards the end. Basically, the water flows through. And is she FEMA compliant I know she
Yeah,
rebuilt after.
I believe so. She's pretty high up there. Yeah, I'm not positive, but it looks like she is.
Well, when was that? That house was almost washed away in Sandy, right? Or it was the one next
Yeah,
door.
had a lot of damage, and the one next door disappeared.
Yeah. So this one, I don't remember when it went up on stilts, or if it was always, I have no idea. I always remember it being up high. That's all I know.
It's always, as long as I can remember, it's always been up high. Yeah.
So I'm not willing to say that it's FEMA compliant because if it was done before Sandy, it may not be. We have no way of knowing unless we knew all that. So I want to take that FEMA compliant right off the table. We have no way to prove that or disprove it unless we knew when that work was done. And I think now they may have raised it again after Sandy. I don't know. I don't have that in front of me. So I think I need to. I'm not going to go with its FEMA compliant, so it's worth more money.
Well, yeah, wouldn't it be on the field card?
Paulette,
Would some
2101.
kind of construction be on the field card?
It should be on the field card if it was done by a certain time. If it was a real long time ago, it might not be anymore. But she didn't provide one, so I don't have it in front of me. If somebody wants to look it up, that's great.
Yeah, it's
If you
not
just
marked.
revision, you click on it, you click on the field card. I can do that.
Okay.
I just feel like we're doing too much work for this appeal. I mean, they have the opportunity to give us all of this stuff. They have the opportunity to ask us if we wanted to see more and then supply more later. The basis for her appeal is based on a square footage, $1 per square foot, which isn't realistic because her house is not particularly highly appraised. It's her land value. She could have gone a different route with how she showed comps regarding the size of the land location and $1 per square foot in that way. And she didn't. And I don't know why we're doing all this work for her. I want to help people, but they got to help themselves. And I don't know that this is in our interest to keep doing this for this person. It is not worth 581. And I think she knows that too. So
Yeah. Well, listen,
I just feel like she hasn't met her burden here. And I don't know that we
her
need to.
appraised value on her improvements right now is 55,800. So the town recognizes the fact that it's like just a shack up on stilts.
Correct.
It's
So for her
the
to do
land
$1
value.
per square foot.
Her
looking
land
at the
value is
field
at
card.
885,300. I would feel comfortable going to 750 or 800 on that.
I'm looking at the field card if anybody's interested.
Yep. Okay.
And a new foundation, in July 22nd of 2014. Also a new bulkhead in September of 14. I see a re-roof in 2015 and a repair from storm damage in 21.
Okay. So and again, because we don't know. I mean, maybe they made it high enough in 2014, just thinking it would get worse. I don't know. So I'm not going to consider that it's FEMA compliant or not. I'm just going to ignore that piece. I definitely, the 581 might be too low. So I think more like the 750, 800 is probably right. Although I think that's still high because it's only a 2-bedroom, 1 bath. But I'm willing to go with that. I'm willing to. I'll say yes to that.
I
So
think
any
800.
What?
Oh, this
Yeah.
is Kathleen.
800.
The other comp that you sold, right? Did
Yeah.
you sell 2001?
I sold
That's
21 and it had property on the creek side.
Right, and that sold for over $1 million.
It sold,
Right,
no,
sold for $1 million.
sold for $1 million when I, then they built a house on it. It was just land.
Right, so that's lot 2 doors down or 3 doors down sold for $1 million. That piece of, and it's a smaller piece of property. It's 0.13. She's 0.14.
You consider the other
So,
at 0.13
yeah, the one you sold is 0.13. Yeah,
on both
now
sides.
appraised
Oh,
at
Had 2 lots.
But it's got Creekside too.
right. And it had on that side, there was a structure. It could be used
Yeah,
as,
that's huge.
yeah, that's a big deal. So they couldn't take it down, but, and they can't, they can't sell it separately, but it did have a structure on it. So that added value there.
Yes.
You know, some of these lots too, don't forget, that it may show greater square footage or acreage on the land, but then the way the water comes in,
Right.
most of their property is unusable.
Yeah.
And this definitely that's definitely the case with the subject property. Any other discussion on this? Well, I'd like to make a motion to grant this appeal in part to 800,000. And yeah, that's what I
Yeah, I'll
want to do.
second that.
All in favor of granting in part to a value of 800,000, please raise your hand. And again, I can't see everybody, so I see 3 hands. I see myself, Carol, Lean.
I got my hand up, Paulette.
Okay, I can't see you, Judy. I don't know why. Judy,
You know
that's
what? Just take your finger and move the screen up and down. You'll see everyone.
son of a gun. Look at that, Helene. Ever. That's 4.
Or turn it sideways, and you'll see more people.
So that's 4 in favor. Opposed? 1.
Katie's opposed.
I don't see your hand, Peter.
He's gonna abstain.
Oh,
probably.
that's-
Yeah,
He may like-
I'm gonna abstain. I did not hear the conversation.
Yeah, okay.
Just for the
Yeah.
record, I mean, I agree that she's probably overvalued, but I don't see that she proved it to us, so I can't vote for it.
So you're voting against it or you're abstaining?
I am voting against it.
Okay. Thank you. All right, so the motion passes with Kathleen and Katie opposed. Abstaining. Okay, next. Because Helene was going to be next anyway with the appeal that we had to put off till next week. Helene, can you do number 62?
62. I wasn't on there for that.
Don't
What's
you?
that?
Let me
No,
see.
I'm not prepared for that.
Which one do you have?
I'm doing
me see.
24, 20, and 13.
24, 20, 24. Okay, yeah, but all right, well, we'll skip it. We'll do that one next week. I had asked you if you wanted to do Jack Philbin's.
Oh, you know what? I didn't get that text because I was in a meeting.
We'll forget that. We'll go, then you get a break. Katie's next.
All right.
Kate, number 9.
Okay. So I guess I'll make a motion to present appeal number 9.
Second,
Okay. This appeal is property address 491 Naps Highway, the owner Dean Cardemus, town valued at $330,300. And the request is for a valuation at $265,000. And so this is a multi-family, like a rental. It's got a relatively small lot on a somewhat busy street. It's about 990 square feet. And basically he put some comps in and he's arguing that the price per square foot on his unit is much higher than everyone else's, even though it's similar condition, similar age. His lot is smaller than his comps and his square footage is less, but he's at like something like $333 a square foot. His comps, and maybe they were cherry picked, maybe not, but his comps are at $252 a square foot and $244 a square foot. He's asking to go to $267 a square foot by virtue of the fact that he does have an unattached garage and the other comps do not. And that's how he gets the value of 265. If I'm honest, the inside looks a little bit nicer than the other than the comps he attached, but not so much that I think it you know that the square footage dollar per square foot should go from 244 to 333. That seems high.
So Dean is a well-known reputable builder in the area. And probably,
Right.
I would personally feel like he knows his numbers pretty well.
Yeah, so I'm inclined to make a
Cross-
motion to grant this appeal.
Before we do that, I just want to bring something up. We've had arguments about deciding on based on square footage, price per square foot before. So I just want to make sure that that's the only reason that we're saying yes, because then we're going to be doing it for everybody.
Right.
If
Well, I
I
think
was gonna say,
multifamily units are difficult to
yeah,
pull comps for. There's a lot less of them, and I
Yeah.
think because it's similar to when you look at almost like commercial buildings
They
when
are.
you do the dollar per square foot because of what they can get in rent. I think it's an okay metric to use, and that's
yeah,
why.
I think so too. I totally agree.
But I would not use it for everything. I didn't want to use it for the last appeal, but for this because it's in some way more similar to when you rent out commercial space. You know, your rent is sort of contingent on or dependent upon the square footage. So I think it to be in line or close to the comps makes sense here.
Okay.
And so I guess
This
I'll
is
renew the motion to grant the appeal.
Yeah, okay, so I just want to continue the discussion. So this property is actually up for rent for $1,500 a month in MLS. That's what he included in the backup. So I just want to, if he's getting $3,000 for rent in there, I don't know that the place is worth $290 unless he's not getting that. But that was what it was. He didn't include in his backup. He included, I
Yeah.
thought, a list of his rental listing.
Yeah, they did. An agent came in. Dean was not at the appeal. His agent came in and didn't mention anything about whether or not there were tenants in and whether both sides were rented or not. Or
Yeah.
both
Wait,
units.
So
I'm unclear as to why is that relevant? How much he's getting
I
per
don't think
month?
it is. I don't think it is.
And as to what the house is worth?
Yes, because it's an income property, it's a rental property, and so you can use two different approaches to value the property. You can value it based on, you know, what the cash flow can be from that business, right? And you can also value it based on sales. And so when we look at rentals, we need to look at both of those approaches because he doesn't live there. This is income property. And so I don't know that it says it closed at 15/25 on the MLS listing and the date closed is 10/2/2020. That's right at the revow period. So
No,
I don't know if
it
that,
just closed for 1,500.
How many
Okay.
units is this, Katie?
There are, I think it's 2 units.
Yeah, I mean, I think the income approach is more valid for rental apartment complexes or things where there's like really a duplex is, you know, one shake leg away from a house as far as I'm concerned. I would tend to use regular sales comps versus the
Well,
income
I
approach.
agree with that. I agree with
Oh,
that.
do we have definite proof that he doesn't live there?
I can assure you Dean
I
Cardis doesn't live
definitely
there.
think he lives there.
Wait, you know what? I've seen stranger things happen when they want,
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
No.
for what it's worth, on the appeal, the mailing address is not this property.
Okay.
So there's at least one other place.
Yeah, I would just use sales approach.
up from McKinley School, right? I drove by it the other day. It's across from McKinley.
from
So
McKinley.
if
Yep.
you rented it,
Yeah.
you could walk to your kid. Yeah, it's on that road between Ward and you know, we have some other, whatever. There's some sales on that street that are much, you know, that's a pretty low price. We don't have many houses that are selling for that low, especially on what's the size of this lot. Do you have a decent piece of land?
It's
probably
point
most
one
of it-
acre.
No, 0.10. I don't think that's, oh wait, that's the comp. Sorry.
Yeah, I think 491 Naps Highway, right? Yeah, the mailing address is in Bridgeport. So his land is valued at 232 and the dwelling at 85 to bring him to 330.
He's
And
not
he has a garage. I don't know. I
think
just
he's
think a
about-
house for 300,000, I don't know. And if he's
I
able to rent
think
it,
it's a little low
Rent-
too. I think it's a little low. I do.
it's low. Yeah, the multifamilies, typically, we saw them last year. They were going, Judy probably remembers, because she did a lot of multifamilies. They were in the they were around 4, right? 4. That was
Yeah.
about the lowest we.
I happen to think the 265 is too low. If you look at some of the comparables, I think more like 300.
Yeah, it's definitely too low. There's nothing, practically nothing
Yeah,
at that
I
value.
think 300, and I'll go because I'm looking at the size, the square footage. It's a main cut through location. I'd say 300 and 265. No, it's not enough. I appreciate the thought, but his comps are telling me something different.
Yeah.
Me personally, it's telling me something different.
Katie, how do you feel about that?
No, not, you would know better, certainly. I look at the comps, they're all 2 stories for what it's worth, larger and have larger lot. This is a 1 story. I don't know how that how that works into multifamily, if that makes a humongous difference to homeowners or not. Okay, I'm fine with whatever. I think 333 a square foot is too high when you look at his comps.
I actually think that 33 is too high when you think about that. 33 for those little units. I think that's too high. But I don't go by square foot because one of the problems that I find with it is because we don't know what's outside of those houses, you could have the same size house and the same size property. One's done to the nines, the other one's a done.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's why the square foot price for me is difficult because I don't know what they look like unless I've seen them. And even then I don't really like to use it, but I
All
don't know.
right, so are we comfortable if I make a motion to grant this appeal in part at 300,000?
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm good with that.
Second.
Second.
I'll second
I'll
it.
second it.
Okay, everybody seconded it. That's good. Okay, all in favor of granting? What? Somebody say something?
All good.
All in favor of granting appeal number 9 in part at 300,000? Please raise your hand. I think I saw your hand up, Peter. Okay. All right, so unless I'm wrong, it looks like it's 5 in favor, 1 opposed. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so the motion carries, granting in part at 300,000 with
Mhm.
Kathleen. I think you were the one who opposed. Is that correct?
I was on mute. Sorry. Yes, I opposed.
So Kathleen's opposed. Okay. Next, I think is Katie again.
Yep. Number
Uh,
22. This one is interesting to me. So I'll make a motion to present appeal number 22.
Second.
Okay, so this property address is 13 Stoneley Road. The town has the value of the owner is Arthur Mayer. Town has the value at 594,700, and the appellant is requesting the appraised value be reduced to $540,000. Their major concern was the land value. And if you can look through the comps they provided all on the subject street or in the neighborhood, they really believed that when they looked at the entire street, everyone in this new reval period had been decreased by 9%, and his property was increased by 9%. And he honestly thinks it might just be as simple as a Scrivener error. And I don't know. He said, they've done no improvements to the home. He said that the real jump was on the land value, and he can't explain it. It is a corner lot, but he can't really explain why everything changed when the other properties on the street decreased, including corner lots.
This corner lot, I happen to know that property, and the house is set back on the corner, and he's got mostly front yard. He really has no privacy there at all. It's the worst, unfortunately, I'd say it's the worst lot on the whole street. because of that. Even if you go across the street on the other corner where that's at, that other one at least has a decent sized backyard and side yard, but number 13 does not. That I know. So I'll go for that argument. You know, with his property, he's got less use of that property, less privacy.
I mean, can we even think of an explanation for why the rest of the neighborhood would have been decreased? I'm trying to find the exact page he showed me, where the rest of the neighborhood would have been decreased by that amount, and then he not only doesn't stay flat, he actually jumps up.
Maybe he was recoded.
I mean,
Take a look.
literally, he has a property right next door. He's at 13. He shows number 15 went down 9.09%.
Yeah, I can't find it, but
It's the second page of his appeal. Like well, a couple pages. He puts the tax bills in to show the difference, and then he does a chart where he does all the streets on it, all the houses on his street, and like the little neighborhood.
he's on what street? Stoney Square. Okay,
But he's on
right now. So it's not that. They didn't make a mistake on his neighborhood code. He's where he should be. So I have no idea why that is, and I would tend to agree that he shouldn't be the only one who went up 9%. I mean, my God, that's almost no. I would have to say. I mean, I'm okay with it because he shouldn't be the only one. If there was,
This is Kathleen. I think I know why. I think he's got an acre, right? So if there was a percentage increase or something happened, he's got a much bigger, at least, what did you say? When I look at 15, that's on a half acre, right? And he's on 1, we saw some of that on Black Rock Turnpike, right? The land curve is the lots get bigger, the land values go up. So 15's land value is 351. His land value is 419. So maybe his land went up. You'd have to look. I can't see it on the card. Yeah, it doesn't break it down right for previous. Oh, maybe it does on the vision card. Breaks it down for previous years. Was he 13, Stonely?
He's 13.
He's 13.
Yeah, so you can see the valuation on the land went from 381 to 419, from 19 to 20. His house went up a little bit.
I'm not
His
trying
land
to.
went up. Yeah, his land went up by 35,000 from last appraised in the reval. Okay, so let's look at the card for the neighbor, right? His land alone. We're just trying to figure out why did he go up, right? When his neighbors went down. So he was 381,500, and his land went to 419,900. Okay, and let's look at the neighbor. The neighbor at 15 Stonely, right? That's the one we're looking at. Their land value was 383,900, and their land went to 351,900.
Okay, but that's the point. Every land went down, his went up. I realize he has more land, but he was the one that got an increase. But why? That's what
Yeah, he should have gone down proportionately.
right. Proportionally, it should be like maybe he shouldn't have the same value as somebody with a half acre, although he doesn't have a great acre if most of it's in the front, but still, but it didn't go down at all and everybody else's did. And they might, I don't know what kind of yards they have. Maybe they're better, maybe they're not. I don't know. But that's what I don't understand. Why is his up? He's the only one.
He could have been in the wrong, again, you have to look at, you can't, let's see, you have to kind of look at it as, is he right now, right? Is he correct compared to his neighbor? So his neighbor's at 351.9 for the land, because maybe he was in a different neighborhood code before, we can't tell that. And the land curves are different in different places. So if he was somewhere, especially since he's on a corner, maybe, what is 87? Maybe when they broke out the North Stratfield neighborhood, he got moved into a different neighborhood. That might have happened. So maybe he was way too low. I don't know, but
Point exactly.
he was 661, right?
Never moved. So I'm inclined to go with this because he shouldn't be the only guy that got an increase. Land curve or no land curve. If it's just not, you can't just take one person and say, oh, sorry, you're on the curve. Everybody else isn't. So,
No, but is he right? Is his price right? Right? That's what we really need to figure out. Is 594, 700, regardless of what, because everybody wants what their neighbor has. And if we brought everybody to their neighbor,
Which
fire
I think is,
correct?
I think that's a valid point. Where,
Yeah.
you know, if the neighbors, if all the neighbors went down in their land valuation, he should have too, proportionally.
Because maybe not, I think he needs to be correct. Is his price right at 594, 700? That's really what we need to figure out. Like, we're trying to figure out why it happened, but that's a different question than, is he correct? Because if we
No.
give everybody what they're has, you know, next, right, Cary Circle's all going to come back next year. They're all going to, or whatever. Anybody whose neighbor got reduced is going to want what their neighbor had.
they should get,
That's time. So we just have to decide.
What,
is-
I'm fine with that.
What constitutes
right?
being correct? I mean, if
Right.
everybody else went down, I think if in your neighborhood, Kathleen, if everybody else went down but you went up, would you think, well, I'm priced right? Everyone else, you know, lucky for them, but
Yeah.
you know, unlucky for me.
We have to look at their prices before too. So like, and you have to look at sales. Sometimes if they've appealed, they bump up a lot. That happens a lot. If they've had a reduction, right, then they come back and they had an override, they pop back up. So that's how we see those guys too. So that's another reason you can pop up. Sometimes if you do work on your house, you know, different things happen with your property. So if you know, did he provide sales in his backup, or he's just talking about what his neighbors have?
Yeah, no, he's just talking about the change. Let
Right.
me make sure though. Hang on, because he included a bunch of.
Yeah, Ross might be able to explain, you know, why he bumped. I'm just looking at the sales data that, you know, we have, and I see one for 710, another for 740, you know, an 845 on Stoneleigh Road or Stoneleigh Square in that area. I see, you know, sale prices in the 6s and 7s. Now, I'm not saying those aren't better houses than his. I'd have to look more at them. But if he didn't give us sales data, you know, what my neighbor has isn't, I don't know.
Well, I
But
think
in
that's valid.
fairness to taxpayers, some of these guys don't know to use sales data. They are using,
Well,
I'm getting into
We
the
tell-
head of one of these guys, and I can see where they would just compare themselves to everybody else and say, this is unfair.
I know, but unfortunately, that's not good enough, right? They have a higher burden than that, and I do feel for them. But there is the possibility that maybe it was a correction, that maybe everyone else did go down because most of them, when you look, they went down, but they were previously higher than him for land value. So if they are smaller lots and at a time, just the land appraised, you know, the last valuation period higher than his.
and I could,
Like,
agree,
there's some-
Val.
Well, I mean, you know, not everybody. I mean, number 15 was only 2,000 higher than he was,
right.
and they went down to 351.9. So their valuations on the land were almost identical. And they went down to 351.9, and he went up to 419.9.
Right.
I think it's an algorithm of some sort, and that's
Yes, it is.
really it.
I think
Yeah.
that's what,
Another thought, this happens to be a split level home. We all know the values of the split levels are less. I think it's there's only like 2 or 3 split levels on the whole street.
Yeah, I mean, Stoneleigh Road has, there's so many different styles up there between
But-
Stoneleigh Square and Stoneleigh Road. Ranches, colonials, splits. But, you know, we're focusing on the land right now.
Right. And that's really all his.
Or we're good at value too, but you know, really, I don't think they're off the beaten path there.
I honestly don't either, because I just don't think that, I can't get it. I can't accept the fact that the entire street went down and he went up. If he had stayed the same, I might be able to take it a little bit better and say, well, maybe there's a reason. But all this not about, you know, it's the algorithm, it's the curve, it's this, it's that. What comes down to is he is high, his value is much higher than everybody else's. And I don't see the reason. Maybe I'm just not seeing it.
Do you think 419 is too much for an acre in that area, that neighborhood?
It could be if what they're describing the lot as is correct. Most of it in the front, no real backyard, and there may be a reason why it was built that way. We don't know. Maybe if that got torn down, somebody bought that lot for $419 and tore it down, they might be able to put the house more forward, make a nicer backyard. That would certainly increase the value. But we don't know if they can. There could be restrictions as to why. Is he a corner property?
Yeah.
That could be part of it. You have to meet 2 street setbacks, not just one. So I have no idea why, but I think that a lot in that neighborhood, on an acre that's not that great, I think that I could think about it either way, but I think that I'd be okay with, what does he want to go down to? Well, let's put it this way. With an acre like that, in that neighborhood, on a corner lot, I think that 540 is adequate. I do not think that 594.7 is the right number. I'm looking at the whole number. He wants to go down to 540. And I don't have a problem with it based on the configuration of the lot and where the house sits. With different situation, different setup, I might think differently.
A lot of people don't like corner lots. I tried to sell one right now. It's a lot of people have issues.
If you take the percentage of the half acre lot, number 15, percentage that it went down, and then apply that to subject property at 13, basically you're coming out to 386, 308 in land valuation. And what does he want to go to?
Well, I mean, he's asking to come down almost 50 grand at the, say, 420. So what does that put him at, 370? Which would be lower than, well, no, it would still be higher than everybody else, but
It's still higher. Yeah, it's just taking the same percentage.
So look at his total value compared to his neighbor, right? The 15 Stoneleaf, the town has at 595. And he's at, again, that one didn't sell, so you really can't you can't tell from that. But, they're both valued about the same. The 13 and 15, the town has them the same, within $2,000.
yeah. I don't know. I feel like for argument's sake, this is, to me, is similar as Cary Circle, just showing me what your neighbor is and not really showing any proof of market value. I don't know that you've met your burden to prove that you're improperly appraised.
I mean, 6 Stoneleaf Square, right? That's a Cape, but it sold right at October 2020 for $710. It's on an acre. I don't know if it's a corner lot, and it's a bigger. Well, again, his is a split, so he probably has. This is a Cape at 32, but he has. His is a split, so he actually has more gross living area that's not really counted.
And we don't count.
That's a 710 sale, right? But if you're looking at, sometimes we know the splits have more living space, but just doesn't show up as finished square footage. But that's just an example.
Wasn't Cape either.
Yeah, the sales in there are in the 7s and 8s, right, during the reval period. So, he's going to want to go into the low 5s. So I just think he needs to really prove why he's not, like the other sales right in his neighborhood. Other than to say my neighbors, why did my land go up and my neighbors went down? Because we probably can get an answer for that.
I guess the problem for me is I really want to know why. If I knew why, I might feel the same way and say, well, it's fair, whatever. He needs to stay at that number. But if I don't understand why, then I can't say no. Because
I look at it the other way. If you haven't proven to me why, or that if you haven't proven that it's wrong, I can't say yes. That's how I look at it. I like them. I want to say yes because it does seem inequitable, but I don't know what sort of went into it. And there were sales comps maybe they could have used and didn't. And I can't. Yesterday or Monday, I was singing the same tune with Cary Circle. I don't. Because we're all sitting here. These people come forward saying someone made a mistake. Well, then how am I to assume that they didn't make a mistake on all the other comps you showed with just the appraised value? Right? If you're saying it's an improper process, then maybe it was wrong for them as well. But if you show me sales comp, that's different. That's what the market would bear. And to me, that's more convincing evidence. So.
And that's an excellent point, and I understand that. But sometimes there just aren't any good sale comps in that valuation period. And that's when, if the appellant relies on, well, all of his surrounding neighbors are lower. I don't think I think that's a valid point. I don't think that should be discounted if there aren't any sale comps to support that. I don't think that's the only criteria we have to use in making an assessment of
I
this
agree,
appeal.
but for me, it's more compelling, and it isn't here, and so I don't feel comfortable making a motion to grant the appeal. So
I get it. The only thing I want to say is that, like Colleen said, sometimes there's no comps. We're looking at comps, and we should be looking at comps whenever possible. That's the heaviest weight. But let us remember,
Yeah.
the professor did not use comps to come up with this. He used a math. He used an algorithm, and
That is true.
we don't know if it's right. To me, it's funny that everybody's one way. Something doesn't seem quite right is what bothers me. And maybe I'm wrong. I could be very wrong about it, but I don't trust the algorithm. I can't, when one is wrong, one seems wrong, and all the rest are one way, only one is out of that, it doesn't go up, is what I'm trying to say.
And sometimes I've got instances where there is one sales comp, maybe it's even the appellant's purchase, but everybody else in the comparable homes is assessed completely differently. So, I mean, I don't see it as so black and white. I'd like to use both what's going on with the neighbors in comparable properties, in addition to perhaps a sales comp.
I agree.
Well, and especially since we already set a precedent with Carrie,
Mm-hmm.
right? Think about that.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's
We
valid. I
set
think-
a reasonable precedent. That was all reasonable with Carrie Circle. It's obviously a problem there.
Mm-hmm.
all right. So does somebody want to make a motion?
Katie, I think you can still make a motion. We have to make it in the affirmative. So you still make a motion that we agree, we approve it, but then if everybody votes it down, it doesn't pass. We can't make a motion not to accept it, which makes but,
We can't make a motion to deny an appeal?
right. You cannot, yes, because the government, I guess, I don't know if it's Roberts, I have no idea. It's either FOI, who knows in every place it doesn't belong. You
always have to say that.
I always have to say I can't. I don't like to be told what to do by bureaucracy that doesn't get it. Or maybe it's Robert's rules, but I don't follow. So I don't know why. I just know that, and I guess I didn't believe it when I was told it. So I checked with a couple people, on the RTM and with Pam Iacono, and she said, yes, it has to be that way. So
Okay, fine. But we are agreeing that, are we saying 540 is way too low?
I don't know. What are we saying?
No, you make the motion as in the affirmative for the appellant's value, and then unless there was some more discussion, and then we take a vote on it.
Right, but I'm not comfortable granting this appeal. I might say grant it in part.
You're making a motion to grant it, even if it's in part, but you don't have to agree to do it. You could say
Correct,
no.
but I'm saying I don't want to put something on the floor, this crazy number. No way.
Okay.
So either someone else can do it or I'll do it, but I would say I'll make a motion in part to reduce the property value to $590.
Okay. So now we vote on that. And if it doesn't pass, we have to go back and vote again. Am I right?
All right.
Is that right? Because we certainly don't want to do anything government doesn't want us to do. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Okay.
This is Kathleen. Yeah. So the reason that last year we worked with Jim Baldwin on this, the reason that we just decided no matter whose appeal it was, when you bring it to the table, you make a motion for what the appellant wanted. And I know it's cumbersome, but then it takes you out of the box because everybody does it for all their appeals, even if they don't like it. So if it was yours, you make the motion, somebody seconds it, and then if somebody wants to change it, then you change it, because otherwise you're sitting in an uncomfortable position where you got to make a motion for a number that you don't want to name. So if you just say to grant the appeal as requested by the appellant, then at least you're putting the burden on the appellant, asking for that dollar amount, and you put that on the table, but you don't have to vote. We went, it made it less less uncomfortable for people to just say that's how we're going to do it. And then yeah, you can't deny, because then it becomes a double
Okay.
negative. Because what if
It
it
makes
fails?
it more
Is it-
Okay.
for us.
I'm sorry.
I guess I understand. All right. But it makes it more cumbersome for us. It wastes time because we don't have a lot of time. And I think it confuses the public as much as it confuses the board. Because last year it was a joke. We looked like idiots. Do we do this? Do we do that? Oh, let's try this. So we just have to figure out something. So that's why I said,
Very cool.
you make a motion to do it in part, do the number, and if people don't like it, then it doesn't carry. I don't know what
Paulette,
else to say.
Paulette, here's what I remember from last year. You make the motion in the affirmative. It's seconded, and then someone makes an amendment, and that is seconded, and that's what you vote on. And that's the proper way to do it. Am I right, Kathleen?
Well, does anyone want to second the motion I made?
Who's gonna say?
Your motion,
Sure, somebody has to second it, sure.
Did-
Harold
Can't move
does.
forward. Okay, so just so I'm clear, Katie made a motion to grant in part to, what was it, 590, Katie?
Yes.
No,
Am I
I
right?
don't think you can do that. You
Well-
have to, no, you can't make a motion to grant it in part.
It's a two-step, according to Judy, right? It's two steps.
Yeah, Kathleen, yeah,
Yes,
it's a
okay.
two-step.
So the motion on the table is grant in part 590.
what did the appellant ask for?
540.
Yeah, that's what goes on the table, 540.
First of all, people are coming in broken, so I'm not getting.
You sorry, can you hear me now? Yeah, the motion is just
Now I
like I
can,
said.
now you're
you
clear.
Request, that's the motion on the table. They came to us, to make an appeal, and this is their appeal. So their appeal's coming on the table, and their appeal is to grant their, that's what they're asking us to do, is to grant it at 540. So that's really what's on the table, and that's what we're discussing. And then if someone decides, I don't like 540, might be okay with, 560, then somebody makes that motion. But Katie, if you don't even like, anything, then you're off the hook as soon as you bring it to the table. And so that's why we
Okay.
had,
Okay,
feel
so
it was somebody else trying to get someone else because you're uncomfortable. It was just like, look, just everybody brings their own to the table. That's how we've been.
okay,
It
fine,
worked,
then.
but it took a couple hundred to get there. But that's when we finally.
Then I will make a motion on appeal number 22 to grant the appeal at the requested value of $540,000.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Okay. All in favor of granting at $540,000, the requested amount, please raise your hand.
I'd like to
My
make a
hand is up.
motion for 590 instead.
Wait a minute, we have to finish this one.
Oh,
We don't
okay.
want to ways of doing things. So I voted to grant it. Did anybody else? Because if not, then
Yes.
we can move on.
Judy,
Okay.
Judy, I voted
Two.
yes.
And- Judy did, I did. Who else is a yes? Okay, so that motion won't carry because it would be, I think there's 7 people now. So that would be
yes.
5 people. 5 people did not vote that way. So now I guess you can make the motion, because it didn't pass, make the motion to change the value.
Well,
Harold.
I wanted to present a different value.
Oh,
Thanks,
Kathleen,
Tara.
go ahead.
Well, I mean, we can discuss this. You wanted 590.
Let's discuss it. What
Go
are you
for it.
thinking?
We just
But,
denied the appeal. You guys, you just denied the appeal by voting no. You can't
You know what?
unless we're going to bring the appeals back to the table. That's why you make an amendment.
Let's not allow the process to ruin this appellant's chance. So shame on us
right.
for
Shame on
not
us.
getting this
I
right.
don't know what we're doing, and we should.
Right. We should have got it right. So we should have got it right. We should have made them, if somebody wants a different value, they make a motion for a different value to amend. You make a motion
That's
to
what
amend
I
Katie's
tried
motion,
to do before
And
the
I-
vote.
I didn't realize that's what
Right.
we're doing. And we're using
voted.
system that I don't understand.
Friendly amendment, get rid of the vote, or to ignore that vote. So if Carol wants to make a motion to amend it, you're going to just not, it's no longer what the appellant requested. It's what, it's just a different amount. You're just making an amendment to change it to, a different value. And then someone seconds that, and then we vote on the motion.
I'm going to make a motion to amend it, but I want to hear a quick, very fast discussion by Helene. Go ahead,
Well,
Helene.
I just, as I said before, I looked at the percentage of the decrease in surrounding properties, and I applied that to this property. I added their dwelling, improvements, and it came to 561.08. I still think that's a little lower than it should be because of it being an acre. I'd be comfortable with it 575.
Okay, so is everybody okay with that motion before we start and do it wrong again? Carol, are you okay?
I don't
I
matter.
feel like
Someone
I'm
just needs-
splitting hairs at this point, so I'd be comfortable with that.
Okay, all right. So go ahead,
Need
Helene.
a second on that, or are we okay?
So Helene,
So,
that motion, I just want to check.
so I make a motion to amend the appeal amount to 570. Is that good enough?
Okay. Second,
I'll second it. It's Judy.
okay, thank you. All in favor of granting part at 570? Please raise your hand. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2,
Carol, Helene,
3.
Judy.
Carol, Helene, Judy. My hand's up, but I'm on the other screen. Let me go back.
Okay, Colette.
Yeah, here we go. Whatever. There it is. Okay. So that's
4.
anybody abstaining. Okay. So the motion carries to grant in part at 570 with Peter, Kathleen, and Katie voting denying. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank God. Let's hope we don't have to do that again. All right.
We probably will.
I don't understand. I guess
we-
I have a question. My question is,
Wait.
are we doing this because it's the proper way for some rule that I don't know about? Or are we doing it because someone had a discussion with Jim Baldwin and that's what he wants us to do? The way we just
Wait.
did.
Just
Yeah.
to make things easier, why don't we, when we introduce every appeal, why don't we make a motion right then and there to grant the appeal at whatever the request is? And then someone seconds it. Then we go into discussion. And in that discussion, if someone doesn't like it, they can make an amendment, right? So why don't we just, instead of saying, I make a motion to present the case, why don't we just say, I make a motion on appeal number 22 to grant the requested value at whatever the hell?
That's how we've always done it.
Okay.
Last year.
Well,
That's what we did last year.
this is the second one that we granted in part tonight. So the first one was my appeal, and we didn't have this trouble.
Okay.
So is it all right?
Let's do it the way Katie said, the way we
Okay.
did it last year. Let's see how we do with that system. Okay?
Because then we're covered. We're not voting.
Right. We're not voting. We're
All right.
just. All right. Well, who's
Okay.
let's try.
I
That's
think
Ross
I'm
is
next.
here.
106.
Paulette Ross is here,
order. I did them a different way. Everybody gets a little bit of a break. I think Helene is next with 24.
Hi, Ross. We should all say hi to Ross.
Hi, Ross.
Hi, Rob.
Hi, Ross.
Hello,
All
everyone.
right. Okay, so I make a motion to grant the appeal for number 24 for 560 Fairfield Beach Road. The town values this property at $1,458,800. The requested value is $1,115,087. So,
I'll second.
you.
Okay.
All right, so property, if you go down to Fairfield Beach Road, the section between Lantern Point and the beach club. This is across the street from the beach, and it's on the corner of what is it, on the corner of Penfield or Roland? I can't remember, but it's a big, giant gray house with an attached apartment. I've actually shown that rental in the past. So, you know, it has an in-law. What the appellant did was take, let me get this. I'm sorry, let me just pull up. I had the old appeal. Let me pull up 24. What the appellant did was take a look, because there aren't a lot of properties, especially in the beach area, with in-law apartments. So what they did was looked at it two ways. They did a search of all in-law properties throughout town, and single in-law sold medium price per square foot. And I said, well, we really can't use that, but that was just a, kind of a basis for their, appeal. And then they narrowed it down a little further to 3 properties in the beach area. One was at 32 Longdean, and another one at 875, Mill Hill Road. That's not really in the beach area. No, actually, she told me.
Codes?
Hello?
Oh, go ahead.
What?
Go ahead.
And there are in-law apartments in the beach area, but a lot of them, as you know, are not legal and not listed as in-law apartments. Longdean's the only one really in the beach area. There's one, they pulled one on Bronson Road and Mill Hill Road. They took the median square feet and times the square footage of their subject property, and that's how they come out with the 1,115,087 for their valuation. It's a tough one with that in-law. There's not a whole lot. I mean, certainly if you're looking for comps, it's tough to find them with this type of property. Does everyone see that photo and which one I'm talking about?
I mean, I'm not 100% convinced that taking in-law, like using that approach across the whole, I feel like the location weighs much more heavily than just comparing in-law homes across our town.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
if they could find ones across the street from the beach with an in-law apartment, they definitely would have used it. I think this was a really tough appeal to even prove, because what are you going to use? There's nothing to use in the beach area.
So what about square footage and
well, that's
square footage is square footage, similar beds, and maybe we do a little uptick on that based on the
the subject property is 4,252 square feet. They used the one on Bronson is 39 square feet. The one on Mill Hill Road is 4,083 square feet. That's what I'm saying. If they're looking for just square footage, they had to go outside the beach area. The only one that they found in the beach area on Longdean is only just under 1,600 square feet. So it was, it's a tough one. I mean, I think, if you just look at the big picture, you say to yourself, all right, is this property worth $1,458,000 on that corner lot? It's a big lot too.
What are you saying, that there's no comps?
With in-laws.
Because of the square footage? No, take away the in-law part, just on total square footage. I don't know.
Total square.
Yeah, just a house
okay.
of that size, and then we I'm just saying, then I would uptick it to have the benefit of a separate apartment.
Question. Are they, I might have missed it when you were saying it. So, that in-law apartment, are they renting it out? Like, is that a legal rental, or do they use it for free?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
This is Kathleen. It looks like looks like they get 3,600. I see it online for rent. It's 1,700 square feet. Right across from the beach, like Long Beach, even if you said we only can look at in-laws, which I really don't think in the beach area, this is the rent. It's a 1,700 square foot rental. They probably could get $4,000 a week in the summertime if they rented it out down there, right? What are people paying in the beach for summer
That's what-
place?
It doesn't matter what they
I
could
don't
do,
think,
yet what they are doing.
well,
I don't,
yeah,
I
actually,
don't,
there's value, but I think, I don't think she made her case using square footage comparisons to other in-laws around town. I just don't think she made her case. I don't think we need to spend a lot of time trying to figure out, what it's worth. If she wants to come back and give us, some sales or something, because maybe she converts it not to an in-law and just makes it a, house, and it's worth even more, then her argument doesn't work anymore after that. The whole thing is what? 4,200 square feet across from the beach. That's
I think
pretty
it's more
valuable.
than,
I
I-
will agree
it's
with
more
you.
than that.
I don't think she made her case here, but I still think what she's getting for rent is irrelevant. I mean, that,
And what she could get,
In some of these cases, we do some of the homework for them. Is there an argument to postpone it? And Helene,
well,
using our guidance rather than just reject it outright?
you know what? I mean, I think that in order for us to postpone it, we'd have to like dive in deep and really look for these. And I think that's beyond the scope of what we're meant to be doing with this appeals board. We ask people to bring us the comps, and honestly, I
Okay.
understand why she didn't, because there really aren't any. And
I
But
think
geographic location, when we're talking about the beach, unfortunately, is just,
yeah, yep.
we can't go to
I'd
Greenfield
like
Hill.
to say something. Okay, I'm looking at the field card. It says 4,252 square feet. If they rent out an apartment for 1,700, you're basically saying that the house is 2,300 or something to that effect. 2,200. The town never does the right square footage for a split. I can look at that, and I know it's more than 4,200 square feet. I think all of us can look at it and tell that. So I don't think we can even qualify it on 4,200 square feet and look at another comp for 4,200 square feet if it's not considered a split. It's not done the right way. I personally, I'm not saying I can't do anything with this. I can't approve it. I don't see the information here.
Yeah.
The comps aren't here. I'd like to help them out, but I don't see it.
Well,
I think the best thing we could do is to deny it, because for all the reasons everybody said, and I agree with those.
Yep.
And I would recommend that she get an appraisal and go to court. And I think that's her only chance.
yeah,
Because
I just don't think she's proven her case.
he can do things that we can't do. And I think, in fairness to her, if we grant her something, then she can't go to court. So I think she should, this is one that's really difficult. I think that's my opinion. I think she should get denied and go to court.
Okay.
So now let's see. I am.
We're doing her a favor, actually.
Yeah, we are, by doing that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So now, Helene, you still have to make a motion to approve it, because we can only do it in the affirmative. And then if we don't want it, we have to all deny.
All right. All right. I make a motion to approve appeal number 24 for the requested value of $1,115,087.
So
have
you're
a
really
second.
just restating it. I mean, that's already the motion on the table.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's take it to a vote.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's go on. All in favor of granting the appeal as requested, please raise your hand. All opposed?
Mhm.
I'm going to guess it's unanimous.
Yes.
The motion doesn't carry. The motion is denied.
Katie, that was pretty funny. You were doing something with your computer. I saw the look of horror on your face.
I had to get my microphone on, and my battery just died on my other thing. So I was trying to push it. It looked like my hand was up, but no. Guys, a unanimous one. I like this.
Yeah. That was some way. It's not easy for the homeowner, but a little bit easier for us. All right, so now Ross is here. So we could take a, not take a break, but we can stop with the appeals for a minute. I think I gave Ross a couple of questions and then I wondered, like I said earlier. So Ross, you weren't here, but one of the things we're wondering is the questions that you received already on several of the properties. Can you tell us what happens with those? Like I saw that you made some changes, but how does that affect the value? Like let's say the appellant asks for a value of 100,000. The town says it's 200. You make those changes, and if they're favorable to the appellant, how does that come out in the value?
Well, you'd have to vote on the changes.
Okay,
We're only reacting to what you sent us. So we went out, we remeasured, relisted. Let's look at, say, fence row. So we went out, we remeasured, relisted, redid the card, and provided that to you. So for the 21 grand list, in order for anything to be changed, it would have to be, approved by the board.
okay, so we would have to look at the field card to see what you did. Is that right?
Yep.
Money. I know you sent a reply that said like that. We took this off, we added this, or blah blah blah. But then how does that equate? Don't we have to vote on it? But did you give it a new amount for us to vote on, or?
Yeah, it's on the card. We gave you a new card, so you could see the old card, you could see the new card, you could, compare.
How do
I just
we-
tried
how
to
do-
summarize the changes.
How do we see the old card if the new card's updated?
What's in the file? It's in the backup folder.
You put it in, okay. Oh yeah, because the backup folder, the one that we're talking about, we originally entertained is there. Then you put a new one in, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's in
Okay.
it's in the backup scanned file. So anytime we make a change, we put anything that I've discussed or mentioned goes into that scanned folder and it's refreshed and you should be able to pick it up. Sometimes you have to refresh your computer to pull the new info, but it should be there.
Okay. And then I had asked about if there's a simple way to explain the neighborhood as opposed to the neighborhood adjustment, like the value, and what does it change? How much does it really change much? For example, if you had a property in the university area as opposed to a property in Tungus Hill.
Well, yeah, the neighborhood code is just a code. It references a particular adjustment. So it doesn't, each one is different, and it's a way for us to adjust land values or the whole card for location.
Okay. So if the same exact or as exact as it could be property, if there's one in, say, east of North Benson and one in Tungus Hill, and without going into the house at that time to really see what's in there, so looking at land size, house size, and amenities that you know about, then I would guess that the whole value, because it's a land value, is going to change to a smaller number if they're in Tungus Hill and a larger number if they're in North Benson.
I'll agree with you. I don't have the numbers in front of me or the adjustments, but yes, yeah.
Okay.
Neighborhoods adjust the land value, and it affects the total value of the property.
So now what happens when I come to you and I say, this street is in Tungus Hill and it's miscoded into east of North Benson? And it makes a big difference in the value, especially with that kind of a setup where Tungus Hill is the least expensive of the neighborhoods.
What happens? We'd have
Yeah.
to look at that whole. We'd have to look at it. We'd have to review the whole neighborhood or that whole section that you're
The whole
referring
street.
to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So then but then like we have a timeline. We have to be finished by a certain time. So what do we do?
But did they all appeal?
No, it's usually just one house for the most
Okay.
Right.
part.
The whole thing. That's why I'm saying, well, now what? So you just look at that one house, right?
Right. You got to look at that one house.
Okay. All right. That's
So can you change the neighborhood code for that one house who came for that appellant who came with an appeal, even though no one else on
I
the street
wouldn't-
did?
I wouldn't do that because then that one would be different than all the rest.
but
Right.
it would correct.
So I would obviously make any correction to that property value-wise that you guys approve, but I'm not going to just change one house to a different neighborhood because then it's inconsistent with the coding-wise with the neighbors. If down the road the whole section of a neighborhood needs to be adjusted, that's a different story. We would handle that during a reval.
Yeah, I think Paula we go back to what we kind of agreed to yesterday, which is that we just do a number, give it to him, and it's approved. If it's voted on, it's a number that he has to, abide by. It's a broader discussion about recoding that I don't think is really in our job as a board right now.
What I would like to be, what I would like to see coming from this board, if we can't change one particular property, which I hear what you're saying, Ross, then I would really like to have the input of going through all of the streets in the town and making sure they are in the proper coded neighborhoods, because we are finding some that are clearly identified incorrectly. And I don't know when that change would take place. It sounds like you're saying it wouldn't be able to happen until the next valuation period. But at some point, I think it would be great if
It sounds like a
group of realtors-
subcommittee.
yeah,
We have to
and-
create a
and we-
subcommittee.
go through that list and bang it out in no time. Just give me a street and I'll tell you exactly what neighborhood it belongs in. And I think that would be a good thing to do.
And I don't know how this started. It could have been, I know that the previous assessor did some of it. I don't know if he did all of it. I don't know if, what's his face from the Vision Appraisal place did some of it, but.
I can tell you when it started.
Oh, okay. Tell me when it started, because I honestly don't know.
Goes back to at least 1993.
Okay. But it seems like it's grown since then.
Well, the neighborhoods have, right, there's more neighborhoods now than there were in 93, but generally what you'll find is neighborhoods we don't change the lines that dramatically. We do see them get subdivided. I'll use the word subdivided, so that they get split into different sections, but the boundaries aren't generally moving around a lot between over time. Not that it can't happen, but generally you don't see that.
Okay.
I mean, Paulette, maybe it's a matter of creating additional micro neighborhoods rather than trying to fit a square into a circle.
Well, yes, because there, for instance, since 1993, I mean, there are neighborhoods in the beach area that were once,
Oh my God, yeah.
disgusting. Like you wouldn't want to live on that street, and now it's all new construction. So, that whole area back behind Old Field Road, Howard Street and Alden and
Hey,
East
easy.
Lawn.
I live on James.
No, it's desirable now, but it didn't used to be.
Since I moved in, it's gone downhill.
Guys, it's 30 years ago. It needs to be, I think the board members, we all agree, it's 30 years ago. It needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
And changing one is not equivalent to gerrymandering. Okay, it's just actually putting it in the right spot.
Yeah. Because it's not just the thing of, well, it's in the wrong spot. That's how it starts. But then when you look at it from a financial standpoint, for some of these neighborhoods, it truly puts a burden on them, an unnecessary burden. From Tungus
Or
Hill,
a huge advantage. It depends how you look at it.
Well, I
Or
was gonna say,
get
yeah.
an advantage gets a huge advantage, and they shouldn't.
right? Somebody gets a huge advantage, somebody else overpays, and it sometimes looks like, unfortunately, it's that east of North Benson, Tungus Hill thing, and there's a great difference in the values there. So one street is Tungus Hill, the one right next door is east of North Benson, and so somebody on the next street is paying way less than you for, could be paying less than you for a comparable house. So I guess that's just my concern about it. I don't want to see. I just don't like seeing that, and I don't really believe that we need 22 different neighborhoods. But that's just my opinion. So I think that.
So I think, Paulette, you're pigeonholing yourself into heading up a subcommittee.
Yeah, I don't think that's what Helene said, and that's. I think that would be a good thing. That the next time, if it's at the next reval, then maybe some input from the realtors as to, like Helene said, tell me. I've lived my whole life here. Tell me the street. I'll tell you where it belongs.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. In the
All right.
meantime, though, we're clear now. We're not going to ask for recoding of neighborhoods. We're just going to give them a number or a different number or whatever.
We're going to do what we think is right. We're not going to ask to recode because we can't. So we'll just wait until the
Yeah.
next, see if we can make some changes that would benefit everybody really, because it should be right for the town. It should be right for the taxpayer. So.
Mhm.
Now, anything else come up? I don't remember what happened yesterday because I don't have my notes. I think there were things we put aside because people wanted to ask information from Ross. Is that true? If not, if he has anything to ask him,
Kathleen, yeah, I think there were questions on commercial, how to value commercial properties, right? We had a small discussion about that last night, and I know we have more commercials that we haven't. I think we have commercial appeals, right, Ross? So maybe if you just give an overview of how the town values commercial properties, what approaches the sales versus the income, and how can we look at commercials and make a decision?
I mean, commercials are going to be a little more difficult for you. We do commercials based on income. How much is that property generating in income, or how much should that property be generating? Sometimes they have a undervalued lease. Sometimes their lease is overvalued, over market. So we're trying to come up with a market rent for that and market expenses, and then you capitalize that income. So I know that's, it's not a simple explanation. Do the appeals, are they giving you income?
I don't think
No.
what for us that they don't have to give because it's personal. There's things that they don't give us. You get it, but we don't.
Well, they can give it to you. It's just when they provide it to me, it's not public record.
That's it. That's what I meant. Yeah.
Right. But if they can provide it to you, and
They don't
typically if you get an appraisal, the appraisal will have an income
Yeah.
section to it on a commercial property.
But we can't base it on you didn't give it to us, so we don't have to approve it. They don't have to give it to us, right?
No.
Okay. I just want to make that part
I mean,
clear.
I mean, they need to give you what you need to or what they want to support their argument.
Okay. But I think, isn't it like they give it to you, but it's not public information. So
Right.
if they give it to us, then everybody can have access to it. So do
Right.
they have the right to refuse to give it to us and still hope that we can do something with their appeal?
If they choose to do so, right. A lot of times they don't care. A lot of it is, a lot of the brokers have that information. They know what the rents are.
Okay. All right, that was that one. I clarified the question we had about the hairdresser and her issue. I clarified that with Paula today, so we don't need to go over with that. We can talk about that later. What about now? I talked to you the other day about farms. We do have a couple of farms coming up. So the questions come up, well, why is it that they lose their farm status when they sell the house? You had said that's the way it is. When you transfer the property, the farm status goes away. And then they have
Right.
to
Farm status is with a person, not with a property.
Okay. So then that person has to reapply.
Correct.
Okay. And if we go to that statute, we will be able to see what they have to do, what they have to turn in for you to make your decision. Is that correct?
I didn't quite catch all that, but yeah, there's a PA 490, a farm application, and then I have a supplemental form that requests several additional documents.
Okay. Are those documents because that's what you want, or are those documents that are required?
That's what I request.
That's
They're
your,
not, it's at my discretion to request what I'm looking for to verify a farm.
okay. So what are you looking for to verify a farm?
Looking for a bona fide business. That's really what I'm looking for, that they are doing a agricultural product and they are engaged in a business, and that it's not, quote unquote, a gentleman's farm.
Okay. All right.
And
So if there's-
how long is the process to get all your paperwork in and be approved if you're like ready to go?
They usually submit by November 30, usually between, I don't know, one of them has a deadline where you can't submit early. I forget what that is. It might not be the farm, but typically they come in, you know, around when personal property's coming in October and by November 30th.
Oh, okay.
So besides the fact that it has to be a bona fide business, what else is required on that form that you require?
They have to indicate what they're requesting as far as the amount of their acreage and the type of the usage. So, you know, there's different classifications of farmland.
Mhm.
You know, there's tillable A, B, C, D. There's orchard and a couple others. I don't remember them all without the form in front of me. And then I asked for things like a Schedule F or a Schedule C to verify their income. I asked that see if they're filing a personal property declaration, which is required if you're a business. We look for what equipment they're using and what sort of activity they have. Sales, if they don't, you know, their expenses, that sort of thing.
Like a business.
Like a business. Yep.
But they don't have to be profitable.
They do not have to be profitable. Nope.
Okay. Okay. So if somebody came to you and said, I have a 2-acre property and 1 acre of it, I'm growing, I have an orchard and I'm selling apples or whatever, then that 1 acre, if it meets like they do everything else on here, then that would qualify for some kind of a designation.
Correct.
Okay. Anybody have any questions about farms?
I was just going to ask, how many do we have and how many farms are there?
I think there's about 50.
Wow. Okay. I didn't know there were that many.
Yeehaw.
Gotta
How
go
many-
find.
Well, and now let me
You-
clarify. A lot of the properties that are classified are farm or just fields that are being hayed.
Oh, okay.
Get farm status for that. They get the very low appraised rate or assessed rate if they're just
Yep.
paying their field.
Yep.
Because it's a
If they
business.
are selling the hay or someone is
There's-
coming to take the hay for sale, yep, that's considered farming activity.
Okay.
Okay. How many of the farms are running businesses and how many have farm status that are not running businesses? Is that, I mean, do most of them file personal property declarations and turn their paperwork in?
Yeah, most of them do, and you know, obviously, if you're just having your field hayed, and then you wouldn't have anything. It would be by the person that's doing the cutting.
Okay. Anybody have anything else right now for Russ? Okay. Well, Russ, I hope I'm sorry, Kathleen, did you have something?
To say, didn't Carol have one? Were we just waiting for numbers on that North Benson property so that I think you knew what you wanted to do, right? Or no, to adjust that card?
Oh, yeah.
Did you get that one?
I didn't fill out the online form today. It's on my list to do. But I'm kind of confused because on the one hand, we said we were going to potentially, I would make a grant for a certain number, a motion for that number. But there are field corrections that need to get made at the same time. So I kind of feel like we can do both of them simultaneously.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to see what the card will look like with changes, you can send that through, and we'll do that.
Okay. Yeah, some of it's related to the land and some of it's related to just a couple of small things that just needed correcting. That was all a part of her appeal.
And there were 2 others. And I don't know if we can do
Does anyone else have personal property besides me from a business?
I'm sure there's others we just didn't do.
No.
Yeah, because I spoke to Ross today about that because I had quite a few coming in, like the hairdressers and everybody. And I'd like to clarify this penalty because people are all asking for the penalty to be removed. Whether, you know, regardless of whether they have a legitimate reason why. But I didn't know it at the time of the hearing to tell them that we're not able to remove that. But on top of that, it's my understanding from Ross that they really need to file their declaration. And so they've been using the appeal process to tell us what the declaration should be to clarify their appraisal, when in fact, we should be kicking it back, as far as I understand this, Paulette, and saying, you need to still file your declaration.
Well, they do need to file. I mean, that's the rule. That's the rule. I think most of them come and they're appealing that penalty, which we can't, by law, we can't forgive that. So
Yeah,
guess
I wish I would have known. I mean, we should be kicking those back as soon as we get them. So these poor people aren't putting a date on their calendar for nothing.
I think I could be wrong about this, but if they send in an appeal, Russ, you might know the answer. If somebody files an appeal like the one Carol's describing, we can't just kick that back. Don't we actually have to hear it and then deny it?
I believe you do.
Yeah, we can't say you can't, no, we're doing it. So.
So I've got a question about this personal property. And is this for 2021? Is that the period 19 to 20, 20 to 21? What is exactly the period for this? Grand list of October 1 of 21.
21.
Correct.
Everything
Okay.
you're doing is for 21.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure, because remember last year we did the reval and we were going back on the 20 and all that other stuff. So I wanted to make sure personal property that was on 21. It says it on the top, but I just wanted to confirm it.
Well, it
Personal
was
property is revalued every year. It's not, it doesn't have a basis, just like motor vehicles. They're valued every year. It's only
Right.
real estate that goes on a 5-year cycle.
But that came up, Judy, because my appellant didn't start her business until November of 2020. Yet she was under the impression that she had a penalty as well as an appraised value incorrect from October, when she hadn't even started the business. So it was a little unclear on that. I think that's where that came in to play.
Right,
Is
so-
that what you looked into, Paulette? That one?
Right.
You looked into that one.
Yes, I did. I called her today and she confirmed what Ross is saying, that it's, you're doing it for the 2021 grand list. So she was opening her business in November of 2020. She's been on that 2020. So she's had the business open now for quite a few months. So yes, she gets the penalty and she has to file her.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Okay, well-
unlike cars, which we can prorate on and off the grand list, personal property can't be. So if you start your business on October 2nd, you don't have to file a declaration for that year. But if you close it on October 2nd, you're still liable for that year. So it doesn't get prorated on or off.
Okay.
It's whatever's there October 1st.
That's good to know.
Yeah, I didn't know that
Yeah.
before. Information.
I just had a question on the cards too, right? I think you said Vision was going to upload the new cards, but they obviously haven't made it to the website yet. So I was just going to ask for the appeals that we still haven't decided yet, right? We'll do some more tonight, but it's really hard to look at if they didn't include a recent card in their backup, we don't have a copy of what their card looks like. And some of them have changed from 21, to now, from March. So for example, I think we haven't done any of them yet, but there's 3 of them on, is it Long Meadow or no? What's the new Meadow Ridge? Like there's 3 of those, they've had work going on, and yet their cards are, if you look at the town's, the appraised value from on the 21 property cards, very different than what that summary card shows on Vision. So
I just need to know what card I need to know what card you'll need. I don't know what you've decided on yet.
Yeah, I mean, or maybe Paulette knows what we've decided, but after tonight, right, then we're not going to meet again until next Monday. So
Right,
just be helpful to have a copy of those cards some way, add it to the backup. I don't know if that's too hard. You
Well-
can't put it online.
Yeah, if I get the list in time, I'll see if I can get the cards into the backup folders. If not, if Vision's not going to have it updated by then.
Oh, God, no, they wouldn't. Paulette, all we have to do is take the whole list, subtract the ones that we've listened to, because I think we've listened to less than that we still have,
Yeah,
and then send that to Ross so that we can have those.
we can do that.
I
Okay.
mean, it rather than, otherwise it requires us to go every single,
No, we can't do that. In fact, I've been crossing them off on my list when we've done them. So
okay,
complete list of what still has to be heard.
yeah.
And Vision should have that updated soon. I've had it for at least a couple of weeks, so it should be
It's
should be
not,
close to being
I
done.
mean, it wasn't as of yesterday, and I embarrassingly pulled wrong data.
All right, I'll send Russ the list in the morning because I'll cross off the rest of tonight's that we get to, and then I'll just send him the list, and hopefully we can get some of them, or all of them, and get them as soon as possible.
Cool.
Russ, I just have a question unrelated to this. Just out of curiosity, are we done in court with all the appeals from last year, or are we still working on them?
Oh, no. We had 108 and we've settled or they've withdrawn their appeal of at least 30.
30.
Yep.
There's still over 100 to do.
No,
Wow.
no, we only had 108. So we're down to
Oh,
under
you're down
80.
to 30. Okay, I get it
Yep.
now.
So we're moving along, but you got to realize that the BAA went until early May last year, so that delayed the starting of most of the appeals. So, it's a couple months behind, but it takes 6 months to a year to work through most of them.
Got it. So
There'll be
now,
some more complicated ones that take much longer.
if you settle with them, they still have to go before the judge, right?
If we make a settlement, we present the what's called a stipulated judgment to the court, and the court approves it.
Okay,
I've never seen them not, so it's
Mhm.
just something you have to do.
Okay, all right. If there's no other questions for Ross, since you're already here, Ross, you're welcome to stay in case anybody has questions while we're going forward. If you have time, if not, we'll have to send them in writing. It's up to you.
I
Okay,
actually
I
do
mean-
have one question I'm
Okay.
sorry, with
That's okay.
regard to those court appeals. Because this actually matters, whether we're voting for things and kicking it out to the court. How does that impact a taxpayer? Do we get charged per diem by the town attorney for each of these appeals that he has to represent the town on? What's the burden on the taxpayer in Fairfield for each of these court appeals?
Well, if they have representation, their attorney will, charge them whatever they've
Right,
agreed on.
their attorney, but
On the town side, we have an
Yeah.
attorney and we have an outside appraiser that we use.
are each of those appeals outside of our current compensation for the attorney and the appraiser?
The attorney that's handling it is an outside attorney. It's not Jim Baldwin. It's
Yeah, so I
they're
guess
handled
what I'm
by
saying
another
is
firm.
it
that's
costs,
retained.
it's costly, am I incorrect in saying that it's costly to the town whenever an appeal goes to the court?
I would say there's cost. I mean, costly is a, subjective term.
Okay,
Yeah, I mean, yes, it could be costly. When you look at, say, Aquarian, that's appealing their treatment plant, that could be a costly appeal because you've got a complex commercial property, that's going to take a lot of work. When you look at a residential property that we're not very far apart on, typically we settle those and it doesn't take a lot of work.
okay.
It
Thank you.
it runs the gamut.
Do you-
It really kind of comes down to the complexity and how far apart we are and how based on the information we get back from them and what our position is, it all depends. But I can tell you, we settle just about everything. There'll probably only be a handful that end up in court. That
Okay,
actually get tried.
good
So-
to know.
If, I guess, understanding the process, I guess I understand what you've said so far, but I think what Carol's getting at, and I have a similar question is, so say you have, this becomes very costly when you have a residential property and the resident is not keen on settling. What's the process? Like, you have to get an appraisal?
Yeah, I mean, the process usually is we have a pretrial or an informal meeting ahead of time, and they present their information. I have my appraiser look at the property and provide an opinion. It's pretty informal at that point. Same at the pretrial level, and we go from there. It may be there was a particular appeal where there was definitely some issues with the property and flooding, and we weren't aware of those, and we ended up settling that, pretty much to their satisfaction. I think, we gave them quite a bit off because things became aware to us that we didn't know about. But there's other properties, yes, we feel pretty strongly with the value. We think we've got good comps and good data, and we don't think their appraisal or their data is strong, and we'll dig in a little bit.
So you have an appraisal from the town and an appraisal from the taxpayer, and they're not close enough to say, okay, we can work with this. Then what? You go to court, you go to the judge?
Right. If we can't reach a settlement, then there might be depositions, and then you have a trial date and you go to
Expensive.
trial.
So that's when it becomes
That's
expensive.
expensive.
Yep.
Okay.
It could be, but again, we don't see a lot go to trial.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Like I said, out of the 108, I'm betting 10 or less will end up at trial.
And we use, who do we use for an attorney for that? We don't use Jim Baldwin. Do we use that kid from Trumbull, Herbst?
Tim
No.
Herbst? No.
We use Mariano and Zabel. They spun off from Cohen and Wolf, and Owen Weaver is doing primarily the attorney that's been handling all the appeals.
Okay. And do we use one appraiser or do we use a bunch of different ones?
Primarily, I use one,
Okay. And that one is
Peter Vimini.
Peter Vimini. Okay. All righty. That's all I have for now. Anybody else?
Thank you.
Good.
Thanks a lot, Russ. So let us know what you're
And-
saying or what you're doing.
No, I'm going to be leaving. I have dinner plans, and
Okay. So then we're
just
meeting.
let me know if you want me to stop back in next week. If you have more questions, I can do that.
Let's see what comes up, and then I'll give you some advance notice. This way you can.
Perfect.
All right. Thank you very much, Russ.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Russ.
Good night.
Okay. It is now 6:59. Is everybody 15-minute break, or do you want to wait? Hello. Don't all talk at once.
I'd like a break if
All right.
possible.
Let's take a break.
We can take a break till 7:15.
7:15. Done.
Great, thanks.
Okay. I think, Colleen, you had another one coming?
Yes, so just refresh my memory since we've been all over the map.
Oh,
Where when we present this, we're making a
Oh,
motion.
You're
to grant-
saying that you motion to accept those, look at those things here.
I don't know, you were all garbled. All right, so
I would-
am I doing 20 and 13?
Doing 20 and 13. Yep.
All right, is everybody back?
Yeah, Jackie said they're all back.
Yes.
All right, so I make a motion, can we do these together because they're side by side townhouses attached? I make a motion to grant the appeals for appeal number 20, which is 58 Meadow Court, and appeal number 13, which is 54 Meadow Court. 58 Meadow Court is the town values, and the owner is Gail Ellen and Gary Lewis Felberbaum. And the town values the property at $895,500. They're requesting a value of $785.
So
50
Paulette, did you second it? Somebody seconded it.
Oh,
Okay.
Sorry, I
Thank
second.
you. Okay.
okay. 54 Meadow Court, the appellant is Nancy and Anthony Van Busicom, and the town values them at $909,800, and they're requesting a value of $780,000. So 54 Meadow Court, I know this property because I sold it to the previous owner, and they sold it to the appellant, and they have an appraisal, which is ironic. It's from Karen and Fazio. So Mike Fazio, his company did this appraisal, and that was back on December 7th, 2020, close enough to the valuation period. And that was for $785, and that is what the appellant is asking to go to, $785.
So it's the same company that assessed it or appraised, the same company that appraised it.
Yes, did the bank appraisal.
Oh, and now all of a sudden, while the market's going up, it drops to, what was the number?
Wait,
5, right? Oh, I'm okay with that.
say it again.
I looked at the comps.
785. Yeah, that is what the appraisal came in at, 785.
I don't like the comps. They're the experts, so I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
And
And
also,
especially it came from Karen and Fazio. I find that amusing.
exactly.
I might want
yeah, okay. So the other one, it's basically the same unit, and I know that neither one of them updated the kitchen. They also said that around the corner at number 851 Oldfield, which is literally around the corner, it's like right there, a few houses away. It's larger, and that closed in July of 2020 for $780. So I don't know why they didn't.
was
They
mine.
weren't both. Oh, really?
I
Okay.
think so.
So they weren't. I don't know why they both weren't on the same page. But number 54 Meadow Court is asking for $780, and number 58 Meadow Court is asking for $785. So I'm inclined to say yes to both of them, to grant what they have asked for.
I'm in agreement.
I'm in agreement. I mean, for one of them, we have the people that work for the town dropping their own appraisal value in just a month or two after. So I'm good with it.
So since we've already made the motion, now we just take a vote.
Yeah, I don't think we have to second, because I seconded it. I seconded before. So all those in favor of appeal number 13 and 20 values, please raise your hand. Okay, that's 3. Okay,
Peter.
he raised his hand already.
He,
No,
Why, Peter?
Appointed. We have the perfect one.
Why?
Why, Peter?
What's your? I'd like to hear. I'm open for hearing.
I'm voting no. Right, I heard it. I'm not, listen. Yeah, I'm not gonna get into it.
okay, so Peter opposes.
Peter opposes. The motion carries with Peter opposing. Judy, number 37.
Number 37. Okay. Oh, I am ready. Okay. I'd like to make a motion to grant appeal number 37 This is Thomas Lisi and Laura Arribas, and property is located at 8688 Garita Street. It's a two-family. The town's value is $512,12. The appellant's opinion of fair market value is $436,000. The property value is not in line with similar properties. It's increased more than reasonable. But one of the other things, there's a couple of things that are pretty strong here. It's 20 yards away from the Bridgeport line. If anybody's not familiar with Carita, it's a one-way street right on the Bridgeport Fairfield line, and it is quite the cut-through, even though it's a one-way street. There is commercial at the very end of the street. It's 200 yards away. Commercial property there. It's like right near Testo's. Everybody knows Testo's?
Yep.
Okay, if that helps you a little bit, okay?
It leads right down to Grasso Terrace in Bridgeport. I have a couple of multifamilies that I've sold over there, so I know exactly where that is. And you're right, it is a cut through to get
It
over
is,
to
even though
Tesco's.
it's they did the one-way street
Yep.
just to prevent it from being a cut through, and it still is.
Yep.
So they did supply some comparables and reasoning as to why they come up with a 436. So they gave 3 specific comparables, and one of them is on 276 Villa. What I do want to share first is what we're looking at as far as square footage and age of the property. So the home was built in 1932. It's about 2,352 square feet. Let's call it 2,350. Okay. There are 2 units. It's plaster interior. The 2 units are 2 bedrooms each with 1 bath. There is a front porch. And there is an attic is unfinished. The basement's unfinished. So let's having that information behind you. Okay, let's look at the one on Villa Avenue. This is a main, pretty much of a main drag, a main cut through. That one shows 1,600 square feet, and it closed on May of 2021 for $400,000. That house needed a ton of work. A ton of work. Matter of fact, if you drive by it, you'll see that part of it is painted one color, part of it's painted another color. It was like that in 2020. There are shingles that are off the house. And it's not in good condition. The one on Carita is not in much better condition. That one, let's take a look at the one on King Highway East. That was about 2,100 square feet. That one closed at $480,000, but it was in absolute mid condition, turnkey condition. That one also had central air conditioning. So very, very interesting. And as far as I think that's an interesting comp, because now we've got to look at what it could be if the property was in great condition. And this property isn't in great condition. So at this point, I got to take a look at the 480 that closed in 2021. I can knock it down probably to 450 as a tops for October 1, right? And then we got to knock it down for condition. So when I look at that, I think that's a very strong comparable. Also on Fairchild Avenue, this one is a little over 1,900 square feet, another two bedroom units. That one closed at 430.
What's the address on that? It's not showing up on that
That's
listing.
208 Fairchild, and that's on a quiet dead-end street. So that's a little different, so and that would be even a little bit more. The way that they came up with their 436 is that they took the average of those 3 and they came up with a 436. I think they are right in line. They also offered a few other comparables over on Mason Street. These I thought were the strongest comparables. and what they presented as the strongest comparables, but they also brought a few more. So over on Mason Street, at 355,000, it closed in July of 2020. That was built in 1917, and it had about 1,900 square feet. And, you know, that's an interesting comparable. Remember, they're asking for 430, 436. They're not going to 355. They also included one on Greenlawn, which was built in 1942. That one closed in July of 2020 at 392. Is it three? Looks like 332 5. I need to actually look that up, but it was about 1,600 square feet.
I'm sorry, the subject again was, did you say it was 2,300
It was
square?
about 2,400 square feet.
For the two-
When I take a look at all these comparables, especially that one, the one I placed the greatest weight on is Kings Highway East. And, you know, and that's at 480, but remember, I'm taking that down because of the time that it closed and the very good condition that was in. There's no
What
doubt
number
in my
Kings
mind.
Highway? What number Kings Highway?
There's 109 Kings Highway East.
109.
And-
Usually people don't put the mint condition ones in at all to their average, if we notice.
Yeah, and she
They
did.
leave it out.
She was really fair about it.
Yeah.
And I really think when I take a look at that, and you know what we do, we'll back it out, just like the appraisers do. They take one house and they try to back out the other comparables to match it. So when we do that, that actually, to me, is a very strong comp at 436. So I think their 436 is very, very reasonable. And I am very inclined to move forward with that. And if there's no further discussion, I'd like to call a vote.
Well, actually, here's my concern. So it was sold in October of 2018 for 427.5. Somewhere between 2018 and January of 2020, they upgraded considerably on the outside. Of the exterior of this house is significantly nicer than it was when they bought it in 2018. However, I'm looking at the interior photos, and you know, the kitchen is older, way old. There is an updated bathroom. I don't know what else they did. Like they I don't know if they updated windows. Looks like they replaced some windows in the house. But so there was some improvement there when for the base valuation period. So do I think it's should be valued at 512,200 on K-Rita? No, but I'm thinking 436 might be too low.
All right, if you were to come up with a number, Helene, what do you think the number would be?
I'm still looking at some of those other comps. I just need a few more minutes.
And while you're looking,
So-
Kathleen had a question.
So I go back to the sales data that we have from over there, similar areas. So 343 Suburban is a 1912 multifamily, 2,800 square feet, sold for $500,000 in December of 2020. But some of their comps were a little bit later, right? They weren't in the reval period. They were in 21. So I was trying to look at some sales. So 343 Suburban, that's probably in the same area. Sold for 500 and
And the square footage on that, Kathleen, was?
2823.
Okay, so that's a full 10% larger than, at least a little over 10% larger than this other property.
Right, and sold for 5. Yeah. So
Was
I
it a
just want to
2
look
or
at the
3? Was it a 2-family or a 3?
Two family,
two
three
family.
car garage. I see a
But if
3-car
it's a
garage in there. The
3-family, that's even.
subject property have a garage?
No.
I mean, the interior of of this one
the
on
subject has-
Suburban is much nicer. I have to say.
It's larger and nicer, and that actually puts another cap on the property. That puts a very reasonable cap on the property.
5.
Yeah, and a 3-car garage is huge because
Well,
you know,
exactly.
that's worth a lot. Yeah,
Compared to no garage?
right.
They have a garage. They do
Oh,
have
they
a garage.
do have a garage.
Yeah, they have a garage. Or the field card says they have a garage. Valued at 10,000, and then that comp on Suburban, that sold in December has 19,000 value for their garage. And it's a bigger house, 20.138. Right? What's the lot size? 0.11. It's a little bit bigger
Yeah.
property. Yeah, Suburban's another kind of street over there as well. So I think if at 512, they probably are a little high. If that one sold for 5 and it's a little bigger, and you say that one's in much better shape, is there pictures of the subject property? They gave us pictures. Maybe I missed that of their interior, or no?
Hold on.
You said it was in much good a
well,
shape. I didn't know.
when they rented it out in 2020, it's really only the exterior of the house that I think has changed. The interior seems to be the same. Very old kitchen. They did update. It looks like they updated the bathroom, at least for this rental. But the kitchens are old.
Are you thinking like 470, somewhere in that range?
Yeah,
Green
I'd
is
be okay with that. Yeah, I think.
I think. Yeah.
I'd be. You know what? I'd be open to anywhere between 450 and 470.
Would you like to make an amendment?
Don't you
I
have
can
to
make
do
it.
that?
You can do it. You can make an amendment.
Well, okay. I'm still very clear on that 436. So I'm going to go, I'd like to amend that motion and grant parts of $450,000 on, and this is on appeal number 37.
Second. Okay, all in favor of granting in part appeal number 37 to $450,000, please raise your hand. My hand's up. Can't see it.
Just so
One.
I understand this, if we don't, if people feel like it might be a little more, but, and don't vote, it would just go nowhere, correct?
Right.
No, that's not true. So the amendment fails. So the original motion is, say it didn't pass, right? Say it was 2 in favor and 5 against. So then you're back to the original motion, which is the 5, whatever they asked for, 436. Then somebody else can make another amendment. Like you could say, oh, that amendment failed. Does anybody, you can make another amendment, and then,
I see.
or.
Okay. Thank you.
Isn't that only the people that voted for the amendment?
I think, no, that's to reverse a motion from before. Say a motion passed, right? And then you want to go back and visit it later on. Somebody who voted in, or the winning side is the affirmative. Whoever was in the majority vote has to make the motion to bring it back to the table or whatever.
I'm not sure
But
about
I think
that. Again, you make another motion to change it again. I thought if the motion to amend failed, it goes back to what the appellate wanted and we vote on that. Because we could spend all night just changing numbers.
we could, but I mean, I believe Peter can answer that too. I think, I'm pretty sure that you can. I think I've heard the RTM make multiple amendments and the amendments failed. Someone else makes an amendment. I could be wrong, but I think.
Well, I kind of like the fact that we can do that. We're certainly not going to do it with most, appeals, but it's nice to know we have that option.
Yeah.
So we have a vote. We're all clear on the vote. You want to
Yeah.
read that to the record?
I don't know the number. I'm not clear on the numbers. How many were in favor of granting at 450? Judy, me, Carol, that's who else?
80.
2, 3. Katie's 4. Who else? Elaine?
Yep.
Peter?
No.
And Kathleen?
No.
So the motion carries granted in part, with Peter and Kathleen denying.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. All right, Judy, I think that's it for you for now. Back to you.
I do have a couple other ones.
I know, but we're going in order.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay,
You're next.
so we are number 106.
100, 106, 107, 108 in that order. I want to change the order. Right.
No. So, I'd like to make a motion to grant appeal 106 to the requested value of $900,000.
Second.
Okay. This property is located at 111 Edward Street. Greg Lane presented the appeal. He used a sales comparison approach. Basically, I mean, you could just go through. You should all have all of the appraisal that he provided. His opinion of value of the property is at the $900,000 range. He put comps in, which you guys will have to say whether we think they're legitimate comps or not.
Which appeal number is this?
This is
106?
appeal number 106.
Thanks.
He actually said that he felt that it was a
Oh, this is
conservative
Bob-
number.
This is Bob Camarda's house.
Robert Canardi, yep.
Yeah.
He said all the all
Our
the comps.
inspection guy.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've been in his house.
He said he had to make really minimal adjustments. All the comps within a quarter mile of the subject property, and all properties he considered to be in similar shape. And we can go through, and you guys can tell me if you think that these are legitimate comps or not.
Gosh, let me turn this
There are, I mean,
appraisal.
I know, they're all over I'm turning mine too.
Want me to read off the addresses? Would it make it easier?
No, we'll just-
Yes.
we'll
Okay.
look
Yeah,
through
why
them.
don't we,
What
while you,
page, what
Okay.
page is the,
The
on.
page number, it's page 5 of the appraisal. It's 133 Rhoda Avenue, 365 Penfield Road, and 296 Lolly Boulevard.
wait, Rhoda, what is it? The next one?
133 Rhoda, 365 Penfield Road, and 296 Lolly.
okay.
96 Lolly. Okay. Let's see.
The subject, 60, almost 65-year-old property on a quarter of an acre. Oh, it's a Cape Cod style house. 2,400 square feet.
He also added time adjustments, the time value adjustments, which is good.
He said he had to make very minimal adjustments.
Right.
There's other comps. You go down. There's 111 Edwards and 333 Roland.
Oh, right. Yeah, right. Did you keep going? Yeah.
Okay.
I don't see a photo. Too bad for Rhoda
Oh.
on the vision appraisal anyway.
Greg really knows his beach area, and he knows.
Yeah,
Oh
Like,
God,
you know what?
he lived in the beach
I
area
don't
for
even
a
know
long
why we're
time.
picking it apart. He's an
no,
appraiser.
I
This is
don't
it.
want to pick it apart.
Good.
I do not. There's
No.
there's so many good sales data. He's picking the right time frame.
Right.
I'm inclined to just, I don't mean to just say that loosely, but I really give a lot of credence to his education and expertise.
No,
And I
that's
don't,
fine.
he's too big. He doesn't take cases that he doesn't believe in. He's too busy.
He doesn't. Right.
And I think I see nothing wrong with the comps. He made adjustments, not that many, all in the beach area. I see no issue with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so can we have
Good.
call a vote?
Oh my gosh, Liz Joy and Brian Joy is one of the houses. That's the one on Rhoda.
If no more discussion, we'll call for a vote. All in favor of granting appeal number 106 to the to the appraised value of, what was the appraised value? I don't see it.
$900,000.
900,000 even. please, let us just call it out because I can't see everybody's hands, so it doesn't help me.
Okay.
Katie,
So Katie, yes.
I'm yes. Helene,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Peter,
Yes.
Kathleen,
Yes.
Judy.
Yes,
I get them all?
yes.
Everybody.
Unanimous. Motion carries.
Okay.
07.
So next is appeal number 107. I make a motion to grant the appeal to the requested valuation of $1,950,000.
Second,
Okay, this property address is 225 Old South Road. Okay. If Greg Lane and I are going to deviate, it's going to be on this property. In opinion, he presented it, and I think he really did an incredible job with it. It's a very unique property. But there's just something I'll get to that I just can't get over, and I can't reconcile it. But at any rate, the subject, it's like an antique house. It's almost 200 years old. But the previous owner, 2 owners before the appellant, was a designer named Raymond Forehand.
Yep. We've all been in the house.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he I guess gutted it in 2006 and really did all these fantastic things to the inside of it. And the purchasers just before the appellant paid 3.3 million in September of 20. And Greg felt that it was fair to say that they paid that, elevated amount at that time because they got a bunch of stuff inside. They got some furniture, I guess, and they certainly got all the furnishings and like the treatments and everything the designer did to the property. And so he felt that sort of elevated the value at the time because they paid such a high number, but he felt that wasn't really accurate to what the market would have bared in that time. But then these people came in December at the end of 21, which I know is outside of the valuation period, but not that far outside. And they paid $3.7 million. So they feel that they overpaid considering what was going on at the time. And he feels that the 3.3 number from 2020 is a little high because of the fact that the designer did all these things. I have a hard time saying that a property that traded twice within and very near the valuation period at well over $3 million should somehow be valued at under 2. That's where I fall on this, and I'd like to hear what you guys think.
I mean, under 3, Katie, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry. No. He's asking to come to 1.9.
I thought I saw 2.6 on the front page.
Well,
I see 195.
Yeah,
Oh,
on
that's what I
my,
see.
Opinion of value. 6. Okay, maybe I'm in the wrong
Oh yeah,
one.
but you're right. His appraisal comes there, but
Oh, okay, but
towns, like can you see this?
Yeah.
Like
The
the town has it at 1.9. I wonder if maybe is that assessed? I didn't do the math. His approach comes in at 2.6.
okay, I see. Yeah,
But as
now,
far as I'm aware, they're asking to go to 1.9. But even 2.6, I'm saying
I see the front page now.
well, that might be a
Talking
typo.
about we're talking about 225 Old South.
225 Old South, correct.
So
Wait,
his,
who-
so they're
who's
asking
bringing it to
less
two-
than
who's
their
bringing-
appraisal.
So are you saying the appraisal's coming in at 226?
No, 2.6.
His appraisal, right?
2.6.
His appraisal comes in at
looking.
2.6.
I'm looking for it. Where is it?
I've never
According-
seen one where the ask is different from the presented appraiser's value.
I have.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay,
hang
did
on.
he-
Let me make sure that it's not that the math, that maybe it wasn't, maybe that's their assessed value. Let me do the 70%.
Yeah.
Granted, there
No,
there
I mean,
were
in their handwriting, they're asking to go to 1.9 on their application,
yeah.
Yeah, no.
and it says market value, unless they don't understand the difference.
I bet they don't understand the difference
probably-
because if you take 70% of 2.6, you're at 1,000,008, which is kind of close to the 1.9. I think they're mixing up. I mean, come on, nobody submits an appraisal for 2.6 and asks for what. I think that they meant to say 2.6 for the appraised. That's my guess.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, if that number was the same, I'd be like, oh yeah, that must be the mistake. At any rate, what do you guys think?
Well, I have a question
I
of
mean,
sale, and before their purchase.
Yeah.
It sold for over 3 million, 3.2, let's say 3, almost that. But they got a whole bunch of stuff. He's saying it's worth 2.6. That's like $700,000 difference. So
well, you remember people were buying houses with everything, including
every-
the dishes.
yeah, and a
You
house
know,
like that is expensive.
the
So okay, I just wanted to clarify that in my own head.
Yeah. I mean, again, he was under oath, so I believe what he said, but I don't have any way of proving that the first owners bought furniture and treatments and stuff like that. But I believe that they did. Or certainly that the famous designer, there's a little bit of cachet attached to that too. So, okay, fine. But again, my feeling is if twice in a very short amount of time, the property's over $3 million, I can't see. He kept saying that they just wanted to be in line with their neighbor. He did also say that there were some HVAC issues at the house. There were some foundational issues because it's not a brand new house and it's being taxed as if it is. But the truth is, the designer gutted it completely in 2006 down to the studs. So while I understand there's certainly some things that are 200 years old, you know, I wouldn't call this a typical 200-year-old house either.
There's two, I mean, his comps are like within a stone's throw of each other.
Okay.
Right? They're 2 out of the 3 are on Old South and 1 is on Willow, which is right around the corner. I'm just, you know, this is where it gets hard when purchase prices can vary dramatically from what the rest of the comps are doing. And it's frustrating because it's kind of like, why the hell did you pay that? And it
I
ends
know.
up being like that potentially is a duress situation because why you have no comps to support that purchase price.
Right.
I was just thinking that, under duress.
yeah, and because of that fact, and they were in such a hurry to get out of the city. I don't know
Right.
if this is a New York fire. They, you know, it was happening all over town where they were coming in and saying,
Right? It was
I'll
panic.
buy the house and I'll buy everything in it. That way,
Yeah.
you know, we can move in like next week.
Yeah. It's
know?
because people were dying in their building and, you know, we
Uh-huh.
thought this was the plague,
Uh-huh.
friggin' black plague.
Like leave
Uh-huh.
all the dishes so that we can start eating on day one. You know?
This is Kathleen. I mean, like Katie said, it sold again for 3.9. Within a year, it sold again for a higher price.
But I just
So,
want
made a mistake the first time, and then someone made the same mistake. I don't know.
remember the market went up between 2020 and 2021. That's why I don't believe that we should be using 2021 prices for 2020. We talk about how much the market went up, and then we're saying, well, you know, it sold again for a lot of money. Well, yeah, the market went up. So
yeah.
But do the math. Like it went up the house price went up 600,000. So it went up 25%, whatever that percentage is, 20% in the year. So that's appropriate. If you're saying the market went up by 20%, I think we're using, Greg was using more like 1% a month. But still, someone paid 3.9. It's not like they paid 3.3 again. They paid 3.9.
and
when?
What?
Did Greg say it was a second bad sale?
It says prior sale was arm's length. I don't know if that means.
Whatever.
No, he didn't. I mean, he really didn't discuss their number other than he felt that they backed into their number by virtue of the fact that someone a year earlier had paid 3.3, and then that's how he felt.
Well, the fact that it sold again in 2021, the end of December of 21 for 3.7, I don't think we should be looking at that at all. It's irrelevant. It's not in the base valuation period, and
I agree.
it's just
That's a whole year later. That's too far.
And the inventory has decreased significantly.
Wait, I'm confused. Is anyone looking at the subject photos?
Yeah.
This doesn't even look like the Ferran house. I'm so confused.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I mean,
I don't get that.
Let me see.
Look,
it
you
looks
guys know
like,
that one, right? With the orange, remember it had all the orange things in the front?
Yeah.
Look at these subject photos. I don't even know what house this is.
like it looks like my grandmother's house, that bathroom.
This is not the Ferran's house the way
No?
Oh, I'm seeing it.
No.
No, I'm looking at the MLS listing, comparing it. I see it.
It's the same thing?
Yeah.
So these are real photos?
Well, these photos were when the work was being done.
Actually, that's when, yeah, you're right. That's when the work was being done. Because you could see all the paint and the plastic
Yeah.
on top of everything, but it's still the same house. You still see it's getting
Right.
done.
Well, he said they're doing work to it now. If I remember correctly, so.
More work.
Those the right photos? Are those the right photos in the appraisal?
I'm confused.
I don't know. And this looks like the photos before any work was done.
That house didn't need any work to it. I mean, well, not my opinion. I mean, it looked beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, but the guys, that wasn't the bathrooms. The one that I'm thinking of with the big hedges and the pool in the back. I mean, it was like sleek and
Yeah.
these bathrooms look like grandma. I know. I'm just very. I
I
really
have
don't.
an idea. I have an idea, guys. Hold on.
Let's postpone this.
It looks like
Wait
these
1
are from
second.
before the first sale. That's what it looks like.
I think that this is prior to them moving in, and they furnished him with these pictures. So what I'd like to do is take a look at the quality of these photos, and then compare it to the quality of photos of another appraisal that he's done, and see whether they're like that grainy or that kind of.
Well,
quality.
when
No.
you guys look at the MLS for when they bought, I don't know if you can go back that far.
Yeah,
but
I did.
Oh,
Does
yeah.
Look at it. They're beautiful.
Does it look nice?
Looks gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
All right. So
Maybe he sent in the wrong photos.
I really.
Right
Yeah,
photo.
something's not right there.
So why don't we postpone it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
All right.
if you look at like page 8, it talks about Kent Road and it talks about a, ceramic something or other. I don't think that that's the right, a well, a septic system, wetland. I mean, I'm looking, some of the pages before, 3 fireplaces, detached garage on 10 Kent Road is a separate parcel with a legal living unit above, must be sold with 8 Kent Road. He's got their name on the top of it, but that's not their data. That's not their property. I mean, maybe the comps are right, but he must have, I don't know.
So, yeah,
Right.
let's just say something's mixed up.
He might have put the wrong photos and more. Yeah.
All right.
Well, I am seeing a lot of the wood. Interestingly, you know how you can paint the wood white or you can leave it. I am looking at the MLS and it does have the wood. I don't know those
The
photos.
fireplace is there. The windows on either side of the fireplace is there. I see that.
Wow.
This almost looks like the photos before even the previous sale, before any of this work was done.
That's what I'm
To
thinking.
me, it looks like they were supplied to him and he used those.
yeah, because the laundry room is the same in the MLS listing and in his photo, but the bathroom shots obviously are not in the MLS.
We need clarification. How's that?
Yeah, let's postpone it
Yes.
until we Greg and see if we can see what's going on.
I'm
I don't know,
sorry.
though,
Tell them we don't mean to pick it apart. We're just confused.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just looking at the MLS photos, like if we don't use his pictures at all, we use his comps, but we look at like how it looks in the MLS photos. How would you guys vote?
Good question.
Well,
'Cause
I wouldn't go to 195.
No, okay.
Well, his number is what, 6?
His number
His
is
number is 26.
Yeah.
Oh,
The issue is we're gonna find this a lot where there's a house, not a lot, but I've seen instances on my own where the house got bought, but I think it's a outlier high number because everybody else, I almost feel like it was under duress because why else would they have paid that?
Well, I agree to an extent, right? Because the town only says it's 3.2 and they paid 3.7. So I think we can agree that they paid more than even the town's willing to say it's worth. As did the people in 2020, right? They paid
Right.
3.3 and change. So
wait, the town said it's 2.7?
no,
that what you said?
3.2.
3.2. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
And I mean, it is beautiful inside. And based on the comps, which some of them were, let me see, go back to the one that was
I
over
mean, his comps are good. I mean, I'm definitely not questioning those.
like, so the 75 Old South, the town has that at 3.2. Do you guys think they are not the same quality of home? You've probably
5,000
been,
Let me look at that. Hold on.
That's 5,000 square feet though, Katie.
okay.
Yeah, that house was tight. I do remember that.
Okay.
Let me go back to the appraisal. But he would have, I mean, it doesn't matter. He would have adjusted for the size.
Right. Right.
And he probably did. Let's see, we're on that page 5, so 75. I think, yeah, it's interesting. I mean, 75 definitely comes in, it's all over the board, right? The first one, Old South, is 2.4, him, and then Willow is 2.8, and then Old South is 3.2. And I think when they're all over like that, they do an average
Yeah. Okay.
of those three. I mean, those numbers even of themselves are quite different, which doesn't surprise me in that neighborhood.
Are we going to vote or are we going to postpone it?
I'd rather vote because I don't really care about his pictures. I can see the MLS listing. I can see that it looks in incredible shape on the inside.
Yeah, I do vote 10 Pent Road. That's a property in Weston. So he's probably got pictures from a different property in his
Okay.
appraisal.
okay.
It's
What?
a description.
Oh,
Yeah, if you look at the notes, he's describing Pent Road, and that's a property in Weston. So I don't think, I think he got confused and he put the wrong information in the appraisal. That's what I think he probably put the right comps, but he didn't. But the rest of the backup is cut and, is left over from a different appraisal.
gotcha.
Does anybody feel that we the rest of the information corrected before we vote? If not, we'll vote.
No, I don't, but
Katie?
Well, I just want to see what the average is if you average these prices. It's not 2.6 because he has 2.4, 2.8, and 3.2.
Okay,
So I just want to pull up a calculator, but I can't get it to open. Okay.
I can do it.
Okay.
Well, and even
4
if you took
plus
the town's
2.8.
valuation and his valuation and split the difference, it's 2.9.
3.2 equals.
yeah, I mean, you can't do averages,
It
right? I
does
mean,
come out,
appraisal.
it comes out to
adjustment.
2.8. It is the average.
And they're at what are they at now? 3.2?
3.2.
And they just paid 3.7 and it sold for 3.3 before.
Correct.
I can't
And
wrap my head around this. I'm not going to vote for it. I can't.
The 3.3 sale was what date? That was right in the reval period, right? That was
Yeah,
9/25/20
exactly.
that
Yeah.
sold for 3.3. The comp for itself.
I mean, this
So
is
maybe-
almost one where, Greg can't, when you do an appraisal, you can't plug in the next,
Furniture.
you can't plug in the furniture, but you also can't plug in the second sale. So
Yeah, the second sale we should not be talking
No.
about. It's irrelevant right
It
now.
didn't occur.
Not
As far as
right
we're
in
concerned, it didn't occur.
Okay, that's fair. But then maybe
Yeah.
we let it get handled in court.
Court.
Because I just feel like, I mean, I understand what he's saying about the furnishings and this, but like, I don't have any evidence of that is true. And how would these people know that?
Well, they're sworn though. I mean, if he's.
Yes,
they're
I
sworn.
believe he was told that, but I don't think he knew the old owners. And I mean, I don't know. It's just hard for me because I like so much. I have so many cases coming where the homeowners themselves are the appellants and they purchased in the valuation year. And I tend to agree with a lot of them that the valuation should be set closer to that because they're their own best comp. So it's hard just to throw this out for no reason. And, just.
Yeah. It
But
might
I
have been,
also,
it might have been worth a couple 100,000 of furnishings easily, 250. So if the average is 2.8, you're over 3 million with the furniture. I could see that.
yeah.
Well,
And
guys,
then,
would
you
you like me to look up the actual contract? Because I could actually do that. If you want to give me a few minutes, I'll look it up.
Yes.
Can we vote?
Sometimes the furnishings are an addendum that we never include though.
Well, wouldn't if it's, I'm pretty sure it would be in the town record. And I can look on the town record right now.
Yeah, but I agree with Carol. It might not be broken down that
Yeah.
way, and
I
because
keep it out.
lenders don't want to see that.
No, I keep it
No,
way
they
out.
don't. No,
Do you think they used a lender for this?
I wonder, was it cash? Does
I bet
anybody
they
know?
didn't.
Let's see.
I would
see.
feel comfortable, Judy, if you don't mind. I'd want to know if that's even true.
There,
If
I'd
they
like,
even did get.
yeah.
I
I
think
can-
so. These designers do that. They move and they want to buy all new stuff. They ain't bringing their old stuff. That stuff is specific for a house. No,
I'm telling you, that was very
100% think
common
it
during the
conveyed.
pandemic.
I 100% believe it conveyed with everything in there.
I believe it. Happened all the time. Happened left and right during the pandemic. Just see mortgage assignments.
And the town has it at what? 3 what? 3.3?
Two.
Tell me the
Oh yeah,
last.
they took out a 2.96 30-year jumbo mortgage.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's the current owner. Wait a minute.
Can you just, guys, somebody give me the closing date and the last name and the one of the parties, please?
Okay, so I have the closing date as 12/21. I'll have to. No, I'm sorry.
The one before it.
September. Where to go? September 20. But I'll have to look up the property to give you the thing.
Oh, no. I'll go from September 1, 2020.
The field card says 25th. Field card says 09/25/2020. Now maybe that's when it was.
And
Let me see if I can find it, okay?
that's right. And they took out a 2.64 jumbo mortgage, 30-year mortgage.
Can you give me the last name of somebody?
The buyer was
Conovitz.
Conovitz, CONOVITZ.
CONOVITZ.
Yeah.
Yes,
No, V is in Victor. VITZ.
right.
Yeah, okay. Was it Brandon Jasper?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, all right. So,
Jasper. Wow. Rich people always have interesting names.
okay, I'm looking at the 3-3 contract right now. Let me see what I can find on it. Only one page here? Wait a minute. All right, I'm gonna have to go back again.
But if they
I
had
doubt
a
you.
mortgage, which they did, then I
Oh,
doubt
no,
it.
just give me a second.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the Schedule A. No, not there. All right. There's the mortgage. I see that.
Yep, I doubt you're going to see it at furniture.
No, it's not going to be there. Let me just check this. No, I'm not seeing anything with regards to furniture. Oh, it's done twice because of both parties. Okay. All right. Now, nothing I can help you with here. I see their mortgage with Chase.
Yep.
Um,
I think this is a case where people pay a super huge premium, not in the value. It's not inherent in the value. It's the priceless convenience of turnkey. So we could add in several $100,000 for furniture, but people are going to pay a premium over that because they just bring their clothes and hang them up and they're done. And that's that's a huge premium.
So that'll bring us to what? 3 million, 3 million, 3.1, 3 million.
Yeah, so if it was like 2.8 plus a couple 100,000 for furnishings, for sure.
Yep. Yep.
This is like, you know, the sofas alone. I remember someone told me the sofas were like $28,000. Yada yada yada.
Oh yeah.
So then you're at 3 and change.
To be
I can see where the 3.2 comes into play, but the true value is not that. I mean, I'm more inclined to believe Greg's appraisal.
Can we vote?
I think we should vote.
I think we need, I mean, we've been on it for about, you know, sometimes we have Kathy's timer, but I know we're beyond what Kathy's timer was.
All right, let's vote.
Let's vote.
Calling for a vote or make an amendment?
right now, the motion on the floor is to approve 1.95. So if we want to vote on that, let's go. If you want to make an amendment, go ahead.
You know, I have one thing to say. I haven't said much about this one, but I almost want to say, let him go to court. He's got an appraisal that he paid for.
Yeah.
What he wants, and it looks like we're having trouble thinking that it's what the appraisal is. And if that's the case, then instead of granting in part and screwing the guy out of a chance to go for more.
Yeah.
My opinion is deny it if we don't feel comfortable with it and let the man go to court and see if he can do better.
I actually can't vote for this. The way it sits, I don't care. You know, I'm not voting for it.
Okay, so let's say all those in favor of a reduction to 1.95. All those opposed?
Unanimous.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm
so
on the record as stating, I think that that's an error, and it was supposed to be stated as Greg's appraisal amount.
all right, so it was the motion does not carry. The appeal is denied unanimously. Okay, 108.
Okay, 108. So I make a motion to grant the appeal to the requested value of $600,000.
Second.
Okay, this property is address 57 Warner Hill Road. Okay, so this property was bank owned. It basically it's in really, really bad shape, and they are in the process of renovating, slow and steady. They're in the process of renovating, so it might take time, but I do believe at some point it'll catch up regarding the town's valuation. But as of right now, they're not able to live inside of it. And Greg's professional opinion is that it's not habitable. They purchased it in July of 21 for $600,000 from the bank. It was listed, I'm sure you guys can see the history there, but it was listed in 2020 at 688. I know that's not arm's length. I know there's complications when the bank owns, but they are working towards a complete renovation, and I think they'll be appropriately assessed at that time. But right now it's got, you can see,
guys, this is the one with the pool, the inside,
yeah,
the indoor
pool
pool.
on the inside.
Oh, that's hideous. I mean, I think they have like vines growing inside the house.
Yeah, there's obviously water damage, there's leaks, there's roof issues, there's foundational issues, there's electrical, there's gas or oil, whatever they've got. They had to redo everything.
Oh my God, God bless them. The neighbors
I
must be
know.
thrilled.
And they were so sweet, and they were Ukrainian, so they were so, they're so,
Oh,
like, they've got so much on their mind now. But
Sorry. They're
Go
the
ahead.
original owners. They bought it back from the bank.
Oh,
Their name, if you look been on the property since 1978, so they're not really new neighbors. They're neighbors, returning after the bank bought the property. Let's say they bought it back from the bank. Bank started foreclosure in 2008 and finally took over in 2018.
Huh?
I think
how is
I'm
that
just
even
trying to get-
possible?
yeah.
I
What's
think the
it-
bank finally foreclosed, and then they bought it back from the bank out of foreclosure. They probably had a huge.
Yeah, but how did they must
Yeah, but
have
how
owed
can you
money.
do that when you foreclose? You're like you have no money to.
Well, isn't it been 14 years?
Oh,
But-
Wow.
And they bought it back. So
wait a minute.
Yeah.
I'm confused. That why didn't they under oath tell
Disclose
well,
that.
it's Greg? It wasn't
something's not.
weird.
Greg didn't tell you that either, no, because you can see
No.
there was an eviction against Peter as well on the property, so there's an eviction notice.
I mean, I knew.
I looked a little bit,
But what's interesting is the name on it
Oh.
now is Peter Urgent, and the property history for the foreclosure showed Leslie Urgent.
Yeah, like, right, isn't it held in some kind of trust?
it's an
Like
estate.
You know what
Yeah.
though? Pete?
What does that have to do with it? What does it have to do with the repeal?
I don't really know, but let me just
We're
say
going
that
down a rabbit hole.
if
Yeah,
he,
really. Let's stick to the appeal. That has nothing to do with it.
Right,
Here's
I
the
don't,
deal.
I
They
don't
bought the house for 600. It needed work. Okay, we have an appraisal. Let's okay, there you go.
I'm curious why in the tax records it shows the price of 600,000 sale price, and then if you look on MLS, it shows the sale price is 688.5. I don't know why that is.
Oh, I'm curious.
I have the number 688.5 also written down. That's where it was listed, and that's when it went off the market at 688.5.
and there's
Right, but then if you
But he
scroll
said they
through, you
purchased
can
it for 600. I don't know.
there's a warranty attached to the paperwork that says 600,000 received to the
yeah.
seller. So 600,000 would be the sale price.
Yeah, and I just
Am I
was
reading this
wondering.
correctly? The town has it valued at $1.8 million.
Yes.
Oh dear God. Oh,
Okay, let's stick to the facts here.
Algorithm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for what it's worth, also, he said that people had broken in. There were squatters living inside during, I'm assuming,
Seriously?
14 years. Yeah.
my
What
God.
are,
I never
what
heard
are the
about this.
pictures? There are pictures in the appraisal that it looks like it's been redone. Am I not seeing the right thing, the right property?
I didn't see
At
anything.
the, at the end of, it's towards the
Let
end
me
of
see.
the appraisal?
I'm going to say, you mean when the swimming pool looks beautiful? I'm going to say that was probably from the MLS listing from the bank when they took it in
Yeah.
2008.
Oh,
Because then look at the ones under it. The garage looks like it's a mess. The
yeah.
rest,
It's been 14 years where no one was in it, right? And so,
Yeah, the
or something
bathroom's a
close to that.
mess.
so
I don't know. I
Oh,
always
I'm
look at it as if
So
they're
they're
going to
asking for
renovate.
6.
Huh?
They're asking for 6,
Yeah.
and they paid
6.
6. I mean,
Yeah.
this is kind of I don't know.
but it was a bank,
It's a
bank sale.
no-brainer thing. This one's
Doesn't matter.
better.
Right. It was. I mean, it obviously they bought it from the bank, so it's not a technical 6. But for what it's worth, the bank
Right.
had it listed at 688 and couldn't get any takers either.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
And when they bring it back to its lovely status, the next reval, it won't be that.
and I would like to use a comp, not in the same neighborhood, but it's the same situation. There's a gentleman on Fairfield Road that has the dumpster out there for years. He doesn't finish the work because then he would get taxed on the full amount. I wonder who that is. Let me think now. Oh, I think he does appraisals for the town. Yeah, that then.
Yeah.
Well, that then these people, as far as I'm concerned, they have a better case than he does. And they have an appraisal.
Are there
That's all.
comps in, there are
Yeah, I'm
comps,
trying to
right?
see, where are the comps in here? I'm not, the photos oddly came before the,
Photo.
The photos are from the MLS, those color photos, you see that? Those are
Yeah.
all us
Yeah.
with-
Well, that's the
I-
subject prop, no, there's no comps, right?
there's no comps.
Yeah.
No.
His own comp.
No.
He's his
He's
own.
got a warranty deed though. The warranty deed says $600,000.
Yeah. All right, so, okay, it's not really an appraisal, it's a, whatever. He's.
Right.
Contract to sale. I mean, how much better can you get?
I'm
Yeah, but
good.
it's from the bank.
I'm good.
It's from the,
Yeah, but I think
It came
that's what
off
it was worth.
Yeah.
it came off
I
the
mean-
market at 688, so I don't know that I could support if 688, if it was really on the market, did any of you show it?
God,
No.
no.
No. Okay.
Why
just
not?
asking.
I wouldn't go in.
But see, that was my original question. Why
Yeah,
is it
that's it.
showing on MLS that it closed at 688 and yet the deed is showing 600?
Well, yeah, you know why? Because
I
some.
think there's a commission thing.
You know what?
Some-
Think about it this way. You know, when there's a credit, they don't always show it on the MLS. It closes
Yeah,
for, it really paid 900. That could be what's wrong with the MLS stuff. There is an appraisal that Greg Lane did. So there's an appraisal. He gets his own way if he bought it in 2020. So I don't have a problem with this. This house is a dump.
Yeah, exactly.
None of you would live in it.
On the last appraisal, he didn't use the sale of the house, so whatever.
So,
I mean, when we do bank sales, are we going to value them at the price, you know, when it's a short sale or whatever these are, right? Usually you get a good deal. So I don't know
Right.
that it should go all 6.
Yeah, I have to agree with Kathleen there. Like, I don't think that's a fair market value is what they paid. To be fair, though, the bank did list it at 814.9 and couldn't get anything. It ended up coming off at 688. So it's
Well,
Yeah.
why do you not think it's
It was-
fair market
Guys, it was
value? That
listed
that
as-
is.
but listen,
No one wanted it in the 800s.
Yeah.
The only way it could have sold was where it did.
and
when it's desirable,
Application.
looking at the
Yeah.
contract, it closed at 600.
yeah,
Just because somewhere you see 688, it's not 688 and the town records, it's 600. And if you see who the listing agent was, you'll know why. If you see it somewhere at 688, why it's that way. That was for
Let me
self
see.
gratification, and we'll leave it at that.
now
Let me
I'm
just
trying to
see
look it
who.
up.
Let's see who that is, Judy.
I-
That was bad, huh?
Oh,
No.
yeah. Oh, you are so right, Judy. You
Oh,
are
God.
so right.
Wait, now I want to see. Text me later.
TV.
No,
TV.
no names, no names. Okay.
All right.
I'll have to look it up later.
all right. So what do we think? Let's vote on this.
Okay, I look at it this way. He has an appraisal. He's his own comp. The house is disgusting. The spec says 600. I see no reason.
No.
Why anybody on this?
Colette, there's no appraisal. There is an appraisal in there.
I wouldn't even
There's
pay.
no appraisal.
There's a contract to sale for $600,000. It's right in there. I don't know why
But that's
we're
the only
favoring
comp,
this.
right? You
It says-
didn't do any comps, right? When you do an appraisal, do you typically just put the contract for sale in the appraisal? We usually put a couple of comps in.
He couldn't find any. How many houses look like this in Fairfield?
No, not too many.
Yeah, but he could have adjusted. He could have found something and then adjusted because it doesn't, you know. But
We had the other Warner Hill last year that had, remember the other one on Warner Hill, the big old Warner estate? And that came way, way, way down, valued over 2 million. We brought it
Oh,
way down
yeah,
to,
but
you know,
that
not
was in
close to their price. But that was in terrible
better
shape too. And
shape.
so that was
not
huge
as
reduction.
not as bad as this. Absolutely not.
No, I know, but that's an example of one that came way down in the Warner Hill area because it was in bad shape. So I'm
Yeah.
just saying, you know, this is a bank sale. I don't think we should come down to the price of a bank sale. I think we should go somewhere above that because in general, short sales are more complicated. That's all.
It's
That's
pretty
what I'm saying.
straightforward to me. They couldn't get 688. He has a contract for 600. He has an appraisal, and he's his own comp. I don't think it can get any more straightforward than that. If I had a question because
So I-
because I thought, well,
My
maybe
opinion,
here, I'm talking now, because I thought it was something screwy here, I would say something, but I don't. I don't see an issue here. Katie, by the way, when Greg came to you,
Yeah.
was there more of an appraisal? Like, is this whole thing scanned in properly?
No, that was it. There were no comparable sales. So I don't know, the literal definition of appraisal, but he didn't provide any sales, which is typical, right? So typical that they would be included.
Yeah, yeah. But seriously, who in this room, who on this board would offer them more than 600 for this?
Even today,
I mean, listen, there's lots of reasons for short sales, and not every short sale is going to be in as bad a condition as this. It could just mean that the homeowner is underwater and lost a job and is behind in their payments and all of that. This goes way beyond that. This is next level. This is, they ran out of money and this house went into such disrepair that it's going to take $500,000 to bring it back to speed.
Yeah.
I would,
And that's
personally,
filling in the pool.
Yeah.
yeah,
I would just
Katie?
also, just looking at, I just went on to 73 Warner Hill Road, so I don't know the property. I mean, that's 1.3, acres versus this is almost 2.1 acres. And, that land value, I mean, it's not, the land, just the land value.
the land value is not $1.8 million, that's for sure. I don't care how big that. I don't think there's a piece of property in Fairfield where 2 acres is worth 1 point, and you want to give 100,000.
Oh, but I'm not saying it's worth it's not worth 600 either.
Well, maybe it is worth 600 because this house to me is worthless. What are you going to do with it? God bless them for wanting to try.
it's worth less than the land, really. It's worth about the land, and that's it. It's really a tear down. It must mean something for them.
Yeah.
It has
Sure.
an emotional attachment for them to fix it up.
Something weird's going on.
I think we're fine at 600. I would vote for that.
I will too.
10 minutes or 20 minutes or whenever we actually do the vote.
Okay. Are we ready? Hello?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do it.
Yes.
Katie, you making a motion?
I already did.
I didn't hear it. Everybody was talking.
It's the original motion to
Okay.
grant.
All right, that's right. All in favor of granting the appeal to the appellate's requested price of 600,000, please tell me your name because I can't see your hands. Katie,
Yes, Katie, yes.
Kathleen.
Yes. Oh, okay.
No.
Go ahead.
Wait, let's start again.
Sorry.
Kathleen.
No,
Okay. Helene,
Yes.
Judy,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Peter,
No.
and I'm a yes. Okay. The motion carries with Peter and Kathleen denying, and so we're good with that one. Now, okay, so we're good. Thank you, Katie.
I got one more from Greg Lane. I don't know if you have it on the list, if you want me to just do it.
Okay, I do have it. Yes, go ahead, hit it.
All right. Okay, so this is appeal number 109, and I make a motion that we grant the requested value of $675,000.
109, let me get there.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Oh.
Okay. The property address is 644 Fairfield Beach Road. Based on my notes, his issue was the town lists the property at having something like an acre of land, and there's really only, according to him, like less than a quarter of an acre usable, so 0.2 acres usable. His comps, he said he's on the busier side of Reef Road. This property's on the busier side of Reef Road. And he uses comps.
Oh, I know this house. Is this the one, is it a rental?
He didn't say that. Let me look.
No, I feel like.
Did you say it's on Reef?
Yes.
No.
Carol, it is a rental.
I
It's
think
on-
I showed it. It wasn't nice.
Okay.
No, I remember my people didn't want it. They were like, ooh.
This is on Fairfield Beach Road.
Yeah, he said it's on.
Yes,
He was just saying
yes.
one of the things to cut in their favor was that it's on the busier side of Reef, meaning where Reef cuts Fairfield Beach in half. It's on the
Oh,
side where there's more
okay,
traffic.
got it,
and-
okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's between Reef and say Penfield
Penfield.
Pavilion. Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
Anyway, so the comps he uses are 785 Roland, 771 Reef, 1492 Fairfield Beach. And that's how he reaches his valuation of what, 675.
What was the comp on Fairfield Beach?
1492.
Where's the subject? Let me see.
His
It's like if you're
price
facing
tag.
the, the sandwich and liquor store, it's like maybe 4 or 5 house. I mean, it's between Reef and Penfield for sure.
But even closer to Reef.
Yeah. It's
Closer.
across. Yeah, it's not a nice area.
No, it's not.
No. And then, of course,
Then we have
surrounded by students.
surrounded by students,
Yeah.
and Burke Court.
Yeah, but I
Mhm.
bet they rent this to students because I'm looking at the picture on the field card or the on
No.
Vision,
I don't
and
think.
in the driveway is a Jeep with Fairfield University stickers and a New York license plate.
Mm.
But that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
for whatever it's worth, for their sympathy.
And just look at the comps.
So over there where he is, right?
Yeah, the land's valued at 708 on the property, because the one thing about land at the beach is that even though it's not usable and buildable, it does help with your total coverage for your square footage of what you can build, right? So even if you
Okay.
can't
Yep,
build on
yep.
it contributes towards his lot coverage. And down there, land is pretty valuable. So I think there were a few sales on that north side of Fairfield Beach Road last year. But his land's at 708. He's got a WP4, so he's comped with the properties on the creek side. That's how his land was valued. So I think the comp that he
I
gave
don't
on
think that's fair.
Oh, is he?
well,
you guys
the
take a
way that
look
they-
at this property.
Well, he
Well,
did.
if you look
Greg also used Creekside as comps, and he said, and they were still lower than the subject. So even if we disagree whether they're in the same league, he used Creekside comps and felt that they still came in under.
it was an $800,000 tear down on the creek side. And if you look at the, Judy probably remembers from the beach maps last year, but WP4 was a little bit of Fairfield Beach Road, and then some of the creekside properties, because they tended to sell in similar price ranges. That's why that's why the location code of WP4 was put on a few of those Fairfield Beach properties, as well as some of them on the creek side. So that's how the land value was down there. So his comp is in the right, land-wise,
Yeah.
at least, according to the way the reval was done. His comp at whatever the other comp is, that's, what was it? 1492, but it looks like that was a tear down, right? Sold for, do I have the right one?
I like the comp at 785 Roland, because that was right down at the end of Roland. Almost, I think it was like 2 houses in from Fairfield Beach Road, and that was on the market for actually. I don't think that even changed hands. It's rented again, but they had it. No, actually it did. It sold in the
Yeah, it sold
valuation
in-
period for 650.
Yeah,
That took a long time to sell.
Now
it
his
sold in March.
Hey guys, just a little note. This property starts at Fairfield Beach Road. It's very, very narrow, and it abuts Veterans Park. It's
What?
long and
No.
narrow.
Wait, which are you talking about? The subject property?
The subject property.
What do you mean Veterans Park?
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, that's not. That's what it looks like. Oh, it's on the other side of Halsey. I gotta tell you, I mean the property itself. Did you guys look at it? Wow. Wow.
Yeah, it's a good amount of space, but
No. Yeah, it goes. It's long and narrow.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, but
It's
a lot of that
really,
is
really narrow. It's like ridiculously narrow. Like you know, just
wetlands back
it's
there.
just a no.
Yeah, it is wetlands.
Yeah, I mean all of those
And it's all wet and
properties
it's
on that side.
narrow.
Yeah.
And so when you look at the square of the lot size, don't be misled by that.
Yeah, that's a good point, Judy. That like at least half of that property is wetlands, if
Three
not more.
quarters of it, three
Yeah.
quarters of it. But it's
Yeah.
really, really narrow.
Yeah,
It's
you're right. Yeah, I didn't even realize
really-
it went all the way back to, yeah.
Yeah, see that? Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Yeah. I never knew that.
So if it's that narrow,
I see it now.
the value of the extra land, especially being wet, is useless.
Right.
So it provides a buffer, so it does have some value.
But that's on the
But-
card. If you look at the card, look
My
at his
God.
card.
Why do I keep getting interrupted? You're all gonna get muted.
Sorry, I can't. Okay,
Paulette.
go ahead, Paulette. Sorry.
I was right in the middle of something, I get interrupted. That's the 5th time at least. I don't know.
Breathe.
Speak.
My point is, that land, I understand about land values down there, but that cannot be compared to other properties because of the wetlands and the narrowness of it. Sometimes they're so narrow that you can't really do much with the house. You have to stay in that footprint. So I don't know how big the house is. You can, maybe only go up. I don't know. I didn't check with zoning, but I know that if it's too narrow, that's all you're able to do by doing other properties down there. The concept was at 1492 on the creek side.
Yeah.
That's further down. Does that back up to the creek so that it actually has water in the back of it? And this one doesn't?
I'm not familiar with. I mean, it's on that side of the street.
Okay,
I don't know where
14.
42 is.
Let me look.
It might be down far enough to have the creek behind it.
I mean, it's listed in terms of view on the appraisal as creek front.
Okay.
Let me just look, Paulette. Hold on one second.
Thank you for letting us know about that, Judy, because I didn't even think to look there.
Yeah, but once you see it, it's like, wow.
So what's the question about the 1492?
Does it back up to the creek so that they have water? I mean, it's not water. I guess you could call it waterfront. It's water rear.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
it looks like
does.
it does on the map.
Oh
which
yeah,
is-
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
it's at a part of the creek where I believe it's deep enough you can still have a dock there.
It looks like there is things in the water right behind it. So I'm looking on the appraiser's map, which is the last page.
This is Kathleen. So on the field card for the subject property, just so you know, they have floodplain listed for 0.88 of their acres. So 9,300 square feet is at a 0.95, and then the rest of their property is at a 0.05. So their land is adjusted for being a really bad lot. You may not think it's enough, but it is recognized because he's got the full acre, right? So the 0.88 of the acre is valued at $10,000. So it's the rest of his property that's holding the 697,800 value for, it's a 0.95 on it.
We got 675 there. What's going to happen?
So it is being
So,
recognized on the.
All three of these comps, or I should say two of them, 1492 and 771 Reef, much better houses. Bigger, newer, better houses. I think the closest comp is 785 Roland at 650. Similar condition.
It looks similar.
Literally around the corner and like two houses in from Fairfield Beach Road. I think that's your closest comp. So he's asking for 675 and Reef sold for 767, 520. I mean, moving condition, much better house, much bigger. 1492 Fairfield Beach Road on the water, 700.
I mean, he
Okay.
adjusted pretty significantly for that Fairfield Beach Road one.
Yeah. So I'm inclined to say yes.
If that one goes for 700, I have no problem with the 675 for the one for the subject property.
I'm good with it.
Yeah, it sold for 700 in August of 2019.
Okay. All right. So we already have the motion, unless anybody wants to make a change.
One more
Yes.
comp, if you guys just look at 632 Fairfield Beach Road. Probably right next door. It sold in the reval period for let's see. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's appraised at 991, but it looks like it's a sale price from the bank. I don't know what that means. But it looks
Yeah, that's
similar.
an unqualified sale, Kathleen. How you like that?
Figures.
What?
Say that.
I said, no, I'm just looking at the sales data. Yeah, there's no dollar amount there, but it's appraised at 991. So I don't know if you have any information on it. You know, similar thing. It's got some correction on the land. It's a much
I have a
smaller
feeling
lot.
they'll come see us next year.
What happened? I got a phone call I had to get rid of, and it interrupted my listening. What did we do?
We're
Yeah,
back
it's fine, it's
to, you know, this appraiser, the appraisal. I don't have a reason to disagree with it.
Yeah, I don't either.
Okay. Time to vote. All those in favor of granting the appeal at the appraisal price of 6.5. Speak now.
675?
Isn't it 675?
Yeah.
Yes.
675.
It is.
675. Yep. Katie,
Katie, yes.
Elaine,
Yes.
Judy,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Kathleen,
No.
Peter,
No.
and I'm a yes. So the motion carries. Appeals granted with Peter and Kathleen denying. Okay. Next. Judy, I think it's your turn again.
Okay. Is everybody okay? I mean, I can go quickly, or we can do this another night. What is it? What's everybody's druthers?
We got to get
We
through
got
this.
20 minutes.
We got to do it.
Okay, all right. I think mine are pretty easy. Okay, let's go to number 45.
Wait a minute.
Bill number 45 on the
Hold it. Hold it.
45.
98.
Okay, the owner's name is Susan Satora. The property is located at 130 Rhoda Avenue in the beach area. And the town's value is $1,885,700. The appellant's opinion of fair market value is $1,675,000. I do have an appraisal from Mr. Greg Lane.
Who's that?
He is like one of the very best appraisers around for that area. And although he may have made a little mistake on that other one, probably all under the gun with a lot of other stuff. This one is good. I looked through it, and I'm in complete agreement. Let me do this. I'll pull it up. There was a couple of things. The comparables that he used were right in line. So, and they're all on Edward Street. There was three sales on Edward, and I just see that it's right there. So if the property itself is on a quarter of an acre, is about 3,600 square feet. We have 184 Edward. It's a little over 2,900 square feet on property, just a little bit smaller, but that's on Edward. And when he did all these, that's one. Let me get to the next one on Edward. On 160 Edward, 2,900 square feet, and that was a little smaller property. He adjusted where he should. And then one on 26 Edward. And again, that was almost 4,700 square feet. And that, to give you an example, if there's a 4,700 square foot house that closed at 1,895, tell me how this property, this subject house at 3,600 square feet is worth 1,885. Does that make any sense? No. That actually became your ceiling. So when I take a look at these, I am really, really pleased with his work here, as I generally am, and I have no reason to question it. And if there's no questions, I say let's go for a vote.
I second that.
Okay. All those in favor? All those in favor of granting the appeal?
Hang on, I think Kathleen is trying to talk.
Sorry. I had a question. Sorry, I was on mute. All his comps were on Edward. Did he pick any of the comps on Rhoda? No.
No, I got everything on Edward.
Okay, so do me a favor, just look at 85 Rhoda and tell me that you think it's a lot better. That sold for $2 million in July of 2020.
That was my house. I can talk all day about it. It's a brand new construction. And, yeah,
Okay.
I sold it to the buyer, and
Okay.
yeah, I mean, it's a brand new construction. So what's the age of the one on the subject?
3,500 square feet, 2014.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that 2,000 is high, should be higher than the subject. That's what you're saying.
Much.
3,800 square feet.
It was super high
Okay.
end.
Thanks.
Okay, we go to a vote.
All right, all those in favor of granting the appeal at the appraised price? Please.
At the appellant's opinion of fair market value, oh yeah, a fair market value, yes, appraised price.
Okay.
Sorry.
Katie, yes.
Katie's a yes. Elaine,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Judy,
Yes.
I'm a yes. Peter
Yes.
and Kathleen.
We
You
didn't
on-
hear them.
Kathleen?
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so that's unanimous.
Great.
Okay, carries unanimously. Next one, Judy.
All right. You're gonna give me just 2 seconds. We're gonna do two of them at the same time. Number
Okay,
7 and number 98.
What, 7 or repeat the first one?
97,
97.
98.
Okay.
Actually, let's go to 98 first.
okay.
So this, Kathleen, is there a reason we're not doing 120 Rhoda, which is right next door? Is there, I'm just looking, I have them in, like 46 is right next. Are we only just because we just did that street?
Yeah, because it wasn't on my list. And I don't
Okay.
know, I put that on the list, so I didn't put it to the public. And, I don't know if the person who heard it was ready, so.
Okay, did you put it,
Might be me.
you did put it to the public? Okay, I didn't know that. Okay.
Okay, 98.
Oh, this is Lucas's? Okay.
So remember to make the motion and second it.
Okay.
Okay.
Judy?
Oh, that's a big.
She stepped away, it looks. She's back.
Back? Okay. Judy, we lost.
Guys,
Okay,
okay.
number 90.
Number 98. The argument for both of these properties is exactly similar, so I want to talk to you about 98 and 97.
I don't think you made the motion.
I'm about to.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I think what we'll do is I don't want to put them together, but remember the argument that I'm talking to you about 98, and then we'll be able to talk about 97 afterwards, okay? All right. I move to, this is appeal number 98. A property owner is 6 Borowski Drive, LLC. The property is located at 6 Borowski Road. And the owner is Lucas Papa George also. The town's opinion of value is 502.6. The appellant's opinion of fair market value was 182,245. So I make a motion that we grant the appellant's request of 182,245.
Second.
Thank you very much. Okay, so interesting. This, by the way, is on the corner of Black Rock Turnpike. You know where the cemetery is? And Stefano's over there. So if you were at the cemetery, Borowski Drive is perpendicular to that. All right, this is right on the corner of Black Rock and Borowski. He bought one piece of property and then he subdivided it. So he bought number 6 Borowski, and he bought that particular property for a total of 182,245. And he bought that on April 30th of 2020 for 182,245, which is what he's asking for. Now, here's the interesting thing. It was on the open market. It was on the MLS for a while before he purchased it. But here's the thing. On 8/19 of 2020, he split the property in half. And instead of the one parcel, that's 6 Borowski now becomes 6 Borowski and 18 Borowski. So 6 Borowski is the one that's on the corner overlooking the cemetery and right at the corner. And what he did, now it's only half the size as it was when he actually purchased it for 182,245. It's only half the property now.
Okay, so call it whatever, 90.
Pardon me?
Call it around 90,000.
Yeah, so he's not even asking for that. He's just asking for the 182,245. He's being fair, and that's the deal. So
That's what it sold for in April.
but
2020.
now it's twice as much. And now, as well, it's half the property that it was when he purchased it. So
Okay,
that's all
and
he
does he
wants is the 182,245. I think it's pretty easy.
So he split it, but he didn't start building. There would have been no CO or
Correct.
anything during October of 2020.
Right. So here's what happened. He started to work on the existing home on the property, but even on October 2021, for the most part, it was fully gutted. There are no kitchens, no bathrooms. It couldn't be valued above the original purchase price. It was on half the land and a shell of a really, a basic 1900 farmhouse. It wasn't actually finished. By the way, it just closed. And it's because he just
So in the valuation period, this was
right. In the valuation period, the 182,245. I think he was being generous to the town. There you go. So,
So I have a question. What happens when a property is flipped during the middle of 2 revals? The town doesn't have a right to reevaluate it. Only for new constructions are they able to, or once it gets a new
he split the
CO?
property in half. He cut the property in half.
No, right. But yeah, I get that. That's one definitely notch down. But I'm just asking when a new house is flipped or torn down and rebuilt, the town is able to reassess it when they get the CO?
Yeah.
I'm asking.
Well, that's the second. Right after you get the CO, the assessor walks in. Right after. They usually follow each other to the house.
And since it just closed, he probably got that CO 2 weeks before it closed, if I'm guessing.
Yeah, probably, maybe even,
Okay.
maybe not even.
Yeah.
Okay. So, that's that. Could we vote on that one?
So is
God, I would
this,
be way lower.
He could have went lower,
I would have been way lower because if he split it
right?
right before I take 180, I divide by 2, I'm at 90. And the reval was when it would have been valued around 90. So I don't know. It's confusing to me, but okay. I'll take
Kathleen.
182 all day.
Kathleen, take off mute. You're on mute.
Thanks. I'm a little confused. So there's two properties, and what are we actually voting on? What's the dollar
Right
amount
now,
for each
we're
one?
only voting on 6 because this was the original large piece of property that he
Yeah.
split. He cut it in half. 6 became 6 and 18. So 18
Okay.
is the next appeal. We are only talking about 6 right now.
It's 6 the one with the house on it?
6 is the one that just had the house on it.
Okay, so it's a piece of, it's a whatever size parcel it is.
At the
With
time
a
of
house
the reval,
Right.
it was now 6 was fully gutted, no kitchen,
Yeah.
no baths, and it
Right.
was only half the property. He's only asking for what he purchased the home for at the same price. He could have gone a lot
Right,
lower.
but we're voting on the 2021 grand list, not the 2020 grand list. We're not voting on what it was then. We're voting on, what it is now, looking at similar properties in 2020. That's how you look at it. So if this is, just saying, if this is a house with the, this is a lot, however big the lot is, 1/4 acre with a house on it, right? That's the value that, whatever the town has on the property right now, that's the 2021 grand list value. So if the town has 548 on it, they're valuing it with a house on it. They're valuing the land.
There wasn't a house on it in 2020.
No, but that doesn't matter because it's been improved. So that's why I know some of the appeals we see, they're still working on their house. So the price we're looking at the house today, whatever's there, but looking at similar properties in 2020. That's how you do it's like a look
Why
back.
is he treated differently than everybody else? That doesn't make sense to me.
Know
That way. That's
We do it
Does
that
that
way.
make sense? Does that compute to everybody else?
That's how we have to, that's how we do it.
That's how we do it.
Yeah, but he's gonna get
It's a vacant
pre-taxed
lot.
on today's value now, but for the time that he had, why is this even an issue?
It's today's condition on that time's value. It's not today's value.
I need some help, guys. Elaine, Paulette, is that correct?
But I'm taking.
Yeah.
At the time,
Yes. If someone had a vacant lot in 2020 and they put a house on it in 2023, you can't say that they only have to pay taxes on the land until 2025. They start paying taxes as soon as they start to
They
improve
got a
it.
CO. They just got a CO because they just closed on this house.
Yeah, so, but you have to look at the condition of the house now, or, the condition, whatever, in November of October 1, 2021, that's the grand list. It's the value of what the town says their property was valued at on October 1st, 2021. And you look for comps that are similar, houses or shapes or whatever.
No, that doesn't
Okay.
make sense to me at all.
Well,
I'm not following that at all.
easy, everybody. Let's take it easy. Okay.
I'm sure that's how it is.
I get what Kathleen, imagine me saying that. I get what Kathleen, but Judy's got a point, a very good one. At the time he purchased it, he paid 182 for 2 lots. Okay. Now he splits it in half. So one lot, if you want to say it's half, is worth 90,000. Okay. The whole time before he got his CO, okay, that land was worth 90,000, but he was being taxed on 182 until they got the CO. So if you ask me, he paid too many taxes because that one lot can't be $182,000 anymore. But we don't go back and lower it. So,
All right, and yeah, I agree with that too. Here's what I'm not understanding. So there's 6 Borowski, and then there's 1391 Black Rock Turnpike. Is that the other lot?
No, it's 18 Borowski, which was originally part of 6 Borowski when he bought it.
Well, where does the 1391 Black Rock Turnpike come in? When I look at tax records, I keep seeing
That might
all
be
of
a
these.
mailing address.
I'm pretty sure, Helene, the property originally came out on Black Rock Turnpike, and he has moved the driveway to Borowski.
Okay, that could be it, because that's what's showing closed at 182-245, 1391 Black Rock Turnpike.
So he changed it.
He changed, okay.
and I see there's a letter here from the assessor that says assessment year 2021, current assessment value, and it's written in and by hand, 502,600. 502,600 for 2021. He just got the CO now.
Yeah, I have a problem with that. I really do. I mean, I think that we need to look at what it was during the valuation period.
But no, wait, he just got the CO, he just closed on it. So now it already has a new value, he doesn't even own it anymore.
Yeah.
That's putting another wrinkle.
Does he not own the property?
He just sold it.
Then how does
He
he have the
can't
right to
appeal.
appeal?
Yeah, then
Oh.
why is he appealing it?
I don't know, maybe it's a bad credit, but
When did it-
actually it closed 2 days ago, closed on the 14th.
Oh,
That's not,
yeah, he owned it at the time.
yeah, but you know what?
Okay.
I think it's a moot point now.
Okay, so why don't we just, well, okay, so let's vote on it. Yeah, I think you're probably right, because it's got a CO, so we can't really do anything with it.
What number are we voting? We're voting on a
This is
value of one.
number, hold on, this is number
No,
98.
the one with the house on it, right? That's what you're saying.
Number
And what's the
98.
value we're on?
The town wants 502,600.
5026.
Right, but what is he asking for on that particular property? 132?
182,245, which is what he purchased the whole property for before he subdivided it.
Yeah, but if he doesn't own it anymore, isn't this just a moot point? Because
That's why, yeah, so why are we, I think that maybe we just throw this portion out, but it's important, or not throw it out, but we vote on it. But it's important to know this part before we go to number 18.
My other question, is, it may not be a
I think
moot
we should
point,
postpone it.
and yet again, if he's in arrear on his taxes and he wants to change so that he pays less, which he should have.
Okay, yeah, okay.
On his taxes though, he may not be, and then it is a
Wouldn't we know that through, would there be a tax lien if he's in arrears or something?
yeah, they filed it. If they haven't filed, they should have filed it by now. They
Let me
haven't.
see. I'm in there right now. Pre-foreclosure, Liz Pendens, pre-foreclosure, non-payment of mortgage. This is probably the other people. There was a lien. There is a lien.
yeah, there is.
From
I
the
don't know
tax.
who this Jennifer Swain, Standard Oil.
No, that's not.
That's the oil company. Jennifer Egan, Wells Fargo. Oh,
2015.
He was listed as an owner on this property
yeah, that's from a long
12
time
years
ago.
ago.
These are other problems. So no,
But-
the town doesn't have a tax lien on it.
Okay, then I guess it is a
All
moot
right,
point.
Well, I don't know if it's a moot point because the current owner is an LLC, so it's possible that this man,
oh, the current owner is not an LLC.
it's not
No,
owned by
that was
6
just
Borowski
sold.
Drive.
Katie, he
Yeah.
just sold it 2 days ago.
Yeah, it didn't change over yet, Katie.
Just
Oh, I
closed.
see. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you know what, here's my thought on this one. I think that if we were to vote and actually change it, I would be concerned that we might actually change the new assessment based upon the CO with the new owner that just bought it. Yeah, we might inadvertently do that. So my thought would be that we need to get clarification on this one before we vote on it. Does that
Yeah, I
make
mean,
sense,
I
everybody?
listen,
It'd be a
since
very
the
nice house for you.
since the appellant doesn't own it anymore, I don't think it's a valid appeal anymore.
I don't want to make that judgment. I want to get clarification that we're doing the right thing. We can vote on the other one, knowing the backstory, because we already have the backstory.
All right, well, do
But
you
I
want,
don't- I'm a little concerned that if we do vote on this, I don't want to change the taxes for the new CO by accident.
so,
Right, I mean, you have a right to postpone it. It's your
you want to phone it?
I'd like to postpone it.
Okay,
However, we can, if that's okay with everybody, do I need a vote for that?
I don't think we took one on the other ones, we just postponed them.
So
But you,
what we can,
you gotta do something, you gotta send something to Ross to ask him.
I will. All right. So what we can really discuss, and we can vote, at least in my opinion, we can definitely vote on appeal number 97. So let's go look at that.
97.
And for some reason, mine is not in order.
Crap, how did this happen now?
Where did it go? Okay, here we go. Okay. Remember I said he bought the parcel at 6 Borowski, or what was actually on Black Rock Turnpike?
Please make a motion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yep, let me do that. Thank you. I'm tired and it's late. This is appeal number 97. The property owner's name is 18 Borowski Drive LLC. The property is located at 18 Borowski Road. It is vacant land. The town's value is listed at 3047. The appellant's opinion of fair market value is $150,000. It's vacant land. It was vacant land at that time. And he's always starting with a foundation now. It's very obvious. There couldn't have been anything on it because that was part of the property that was at 6 Borowski. So he just put it together. There was nothing there.
Right, which again, if you split it in half and the house was on the other one, which isn't an equal half.
And he's actually being generous by
He's
saying
being generous at
150,000.
Yeah.
He didn't even
So-
split it in half.
No,
And remember, we're going to get the town. When I say we, I say the town is going to get their
Yeah.
assessment when the property gets a CO, and they're going to get more taxes. But right now, you tax them for the vacant. land. It is.
I'm,
But you guys,
I'm good.
just so I'm clear, if you take a piece of property and you divide it into 2 buildable lots, you don't believe the value gets cut in half.
Listen, the value. Think about this. He paid 182 for that one for a property that actually had the land that actually had improvements on it. Improvement meaning the dwelling.
Yeah.
Paid 182 for that. He split it in half. He's asking for 150. Where is the problem with that?
I mean, no,
That's
if,
half
if,
the
a,
property
if a
with
builder,
half the land with no building on it, no improvement.
I mean, I've seen plenty of examples in the beach area where it's a good, like a half an acre lot. Builder buys the little cape on it, knocks it down,
Mhm.
subdivides it, and then, the way he approaches that, what he's going to build and what he's going to charge for that new build, he bases that on what he paid for the original house, split that in half, and that, that's what each lot is worth to him.
Yeah, I think down the road, once both these houses are developed, the town benefits because it's far greater than one home. Because
That's
new
right.
construction is improvements are weighted a lot more heavily into the land than an older home. So a lot of the weight goes to the new construction.
He's actually added to the tax base.
Yeah.
If you want to look at it that way, right?
Eventually,
Because
yeah.
yeah.
I'm good with
Well,
one.
he's already got one house is already built and closed, which means it has a CO and it's got a new assessment. That's what we were just talking about. So now we're talking about the vacant land with just the, right now it's just got the foundation in there. So it was vacant land, so you can't tax a vacant land if you're looking at that for, $304,000. They're basically saying, yeah, you build a $900,000 house there. That is improper. I mean, right now, 450 from that day, that would have been good. 450, 500 for a finished product, but there was nothing there. So the 150.
Let's
It's a small-
vote.
This is, I like to see the field card. The field card, when you click on it, comes up with a 404 error, even the old field card. And the one that's online, something's, you know, those lots on Borowski are valued by the town. Land, you know, quarter acre lots on Borowski are valued in the mid threes, 363, 367. So that's the typical land value found by the town to lots on that street. So I think I would like to see, since the updated field cards are not available on the web yet, and it's not in the backup, and you can't even see last year's, I'd like to see the field card for that property before I can vote on it.
Okay. What did he pay for the lot? 180.
$182,245 for the
That's value.
property that was comprised both number 6 and both number 18 lots.
And was that a half acre property, Judy?
Pardon me?
Was that property, did it start out at a half acre?
No, hold on.
No, a quarter acre.
No, these are small lots.
Right, but he
Well,
subdivided
let's
it,
see,
right?
the other one is 0.11. So
So,
it must have been a
quarter acre.
quarter of an acre total.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
They're about 5,000 square feet each.
okay,
both of
so
those
Yeah.
lots.
start with, quarter acre to start with. The market value is 182 because that's what he paid. It doesn't matter what the town says the rest of the lots are worth. The buyer paid 182, in my opinion. That's the value. So now he splits it, and like Colleen said, they pay a price knowing that each lot is going to be worth half of that before they build. So now he's saying he's offering to take a number of 150, which is more than 90. I see no issue with this. Now, when he builds the house, sure. Once he gets a CO. But for now,
And don't forget, you know, his original lot, half of that is right on the corner of Black Rock Turnpike.
there's a beautiful.
That's the one that just sold.
Yeah, so that, you know, that's even should be valued less.
That's a smart man. You build the worst lot first.
Right.
But
Right.
Build the-
Close
Yep,
for.
that's the choice. This is what you get.
I think this is a very easy appeal, and I'm ready to vote for it. I'd vote for it in a heartbeat at the 150. I think he's being more than fair, considering he bought the parcels for 182. I mean, technically, you want to look at it, you pay 75, and then what about all the money that he had to spend in order to subdivide those lots?
Right. That costs money.
So now,
And then eventually this property, you know, as soon as he finishes, that'll get a CO and that'll be increased too.
By a lot more than 600,000.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
right. So for the time being, yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right. All those in favor of granting at 150,000, the requested amount, please say so. Please respond.
Yes.
Please respond. Helene,
Yes.
Judy,
Yes.
Katie,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Paulette is yes. Peter,
Yes.
Kathleen,
No,
a no? Okay. So the motion carries.
that's a no.
Yep, motion carries, appeals granted with Kathleen denied.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. That's the last one I have on my schedule. It's after 9 o'clock, I think. Yep. So it's time to stop. We will meet again on Monday at 5 o'clock. I'll post the appeals we're doing tomorrow, probably. And then you'll have plenty of time to know which one it is, which one you do.
Hey,
Good night, everybody. Good
thanks.
night.
Happy
Does
Saturday.
somebody want to adjourn?
Patrick,
Right.
say,
I have a question about
Yeah.
approving minutes.
oh, yeah, we didn't.
So now we're not, I gotta start to post some minutes, so,
Okay.
we
I
haven't
will-
approved. Go ahead.
The minutes from the 14th, I read them this afternoon. I saw nothing wrong with them. I can vote on them if everybody else can.
No, have we seen them?
I
You
read
don't
them.
have
think we-
to.
They were in my email.
Did you email them today?
Does everybody have to see them?
No, you can post them. You don't have to, they can be posted without being approved by the board. They just get posted as draft minutes. And then we can approve them, you know, they just have to be posted within 7 days. I didn't even know they came out. This problem with Optimum, maybe, I think Paulette's emails are kicking back too. I don't know what's going on. I didn't have a
No,
chance
no,
to see them.
Kathy just sent it to a couple of us. So, all right, I'll post them as draft.
Okay.
I just post them as draft, and then when everybody knows it, when it goes on the agenda, we put it on the agenda for approval, what minutes they are, then we can, know that we need to review them, so.
Well, I sent them to you, Carol, but I usually post them. I was just asking if you have some corrections or changes to make.
Oh, okay, so you're posting them. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I just
Okay.
want your feedback. I want you to proofread them.
Okay. Well, I gave you my comments, so I'm good.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, we can talk offline about it.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
Thank
That's
you.
great.
we won't approve them today. I make a motion that we adjourn the meeting at 9:04.
And I'll second that.
All in
Okay.
favor?
Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Okay.
Good night,
Good night,
everybody.
everybody.
Thank
Happy
you.
St. Patty's Day.
Happy